Well, hello there. Long time no see. It's been what, I don't know, 12 hours, 24 hours, something like that in between. I did stay up very late last night, as a lot of you guys also stayed up very late last night. And so, again, thank you for hanging out with me all of the days of the super sale. That was amazing. So, today's Friday. We're going to start the botanical journal, the botanical field note journal. We're going to work on the cover tonight. If you have your kit, grab your kit because that's what we're going to be working out of. For the most part, you'll pull other supplies that you have in your craft room already. And then for those of you who are crafting along but do not have the kit because you're going to use your own supplies, if you have a large shipping envelope, the envelope that I'm going to build the cover out of is a 10 by 13 envelope. Maybe you want to grab one of those. It can be a manila envelope. You could build this junk journal cover just out of cardstock or paper. You do not have to have the kit. So go ahead and grab your supplies, get a snack, get a beverage, get comfy, and we're going to be here for roughly 3 hours tonight, or however long it takes us to build this junk journal cover. We're going to be collaging the cover, so you're going to want to pull all the papers that you want to collage with. I suggest some ledgers, some handwritten things, and these can be originals or they can be scanned or digital copies or prints or whatever you want to call them, but some ledger, some handwritten things. So you want some bits of handwriting and you want some bits of text, either book page or some kind of text, and then some kind of botanical images that you're going to cut or tear up. You can use scraps to collage the cover. You also could add in like some interesting papers just mixed in with everything else. What I mean by interesting papers is maybe you use some piano roll, or maybe you use some um, of the onion skin paper, or maybe you use some of that green painter's masking paper, or you use straw paper or something like that to mix in. We're gonna I think you guys are going to be happier with your junk journal covers if you stay away from the very dark, thick, heavy prints of Italian paper. I know some of you guys are thinking of using the Italian Florentine paper. Obviously, it will make a beautiful cover, but I think for me, what I'm looking for in that cover is a lighter look. So some of those Italian Florentine papers are very, very heavy. They have a lot of pattern, a lot of color. I'm going to stay away from that, and I think you guys will be happier with your covers if you also stay away from that. You can use the Florentine paper that has a lighter or more delicate, intricate pattern. I think that would be good, but the heavy pattern on a journal cover might be a little bit too much, because we're also going to make a topper, not in today's Craft With Me, but we will make a topper. We might do, I don't know what we'll do today, but there will be a topper that goes over top of this journal once we get the cover collaged. You can use papers that are in the kit, or you can use whatever papers you have or want to pull. Those papers are in that kit because you could use them for collage, but they could also be journal pages. So depending on how you want to use them is how you're going to use them. I'm going to use a little bit of everything that I currently have that I normally use, some scraps, some stuff that we've already cut up for collage master boards, new things, old things, everything in between. In the end, I'm probably going to, I don't know, we'll see. I think I have a plan for this cover. We will see how it works out. I have not made one at all yet. It's just an idea in my head, and we'll work through it together. So if there's any other questions, you can go ahead and type them in and I will answer them. You guys can see I'm tired in my face. I have been awake since 7 a.m. doing other things. I had to clean everything out of the room and get everything, all my craft stuff brought back in here, and everything that was sold and needs to be processed in the other room. So I'm shaking up a liquid IV, so I need to drink that. I also just uploaded a video right before I went live. I uploaded a video. You can count that as yesterday's video. And then I will try to get another video done when we are done here. That's why I want to keep the Craft With Me to 3 hours, so I have time to do today's video and upload that. So there should be back-to-back pretty much videos today for you guys to watch, plus a live Craft With Me. Every time I do a live, the morning video gets less watches. So it kind of, if you guys have time, watch them. If not, I understand. But sometimes you upload a video, but nobody watches it because they're doing your live. And so it's like, well, should I do a live or should I do a video? Anyway, there will be 2 videos hopefully today. I just uploaded one. We're doing this live now, and hopefully I'll upload today's video when this live is over. I don't know. It might take us forever and it might not happen, but I will try. I'm trying to stay caught up. I know we are already for the year 2 days behind, and I do have a plan to make those up, but I don't want to fall further behind. So that's what we're trying to do here. Okay, so this video, for all of you guys who are stressing about this video will stay up on my channel. So it's live right now. When it's done being live, this video will be there for you to watch at any time that you have time to watch it. But the videos that were live are always under the live section on my channel. So you'll need to, there's a video section and there's a live section. You'll need to find the live section. And again, YouTube places that live section in different places on different devices. Sometimes you need to scroll across the top and there's a live section, and sometimes you need to scroll down and there's a live section. So depending on your device, it's in one of those 2 places. So if you're popping in to say hello and watching later, don't stress. It will be there later as well. Have a good dinner, Marcella. So thank you guys for joining me. I don't really have a lot of chit chat because I feel like we've chit chatted a lot. My brain is very tired. We just got to get this cover started so that we can get pages put in and we can start working on that. So the plan is to do the cover, and then from there I will probably start talking about assembling a signature, although I know I like journals that have a digital in them, but this is one where you would not have to put a digital in it if you didn't want to. You could definitely just use botanical pages and, you know, the graph paper and the writing paper and the interesting papers in it and book page and etc. You would not have to use a digital in this one because we have beautiful botanical pages that we can use instead of a digital. But I like the journals that do have a digital. So I will scour Etsy tonight when I'm supposed to be sleeping, and I will find us a digital to use from a creator, or maybe multiple digitals from creators. I do like to mix them up because usually one creator, they make a specific kit. And unless you mix even their style, even in other kits that they make, their style is still basically the same. I like to use multiple creators because then you can mix up your pages and it just feels more organic instead of like you bought 10 pages, you printed 10 pages, they're almost identical, and here they are. So I will scour Etsy tonight when I'm supposed to be sleeping, and I will find us some digital kits so that we can print them and so that we can have them ready for next Friday when we assemble the signature. I will give you guys a heads up that next Friday, I will also be absolutely exhausted because I have an event Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday next weekend. I will be here doing the video, but I will just be exhausted. So know that going into it. We will do a cover tonight. We will do assembling the signature, sewing in the signature, and start working on either topper or pockets. I don't know what we're doing tonight, so we'll continue. So that's the project for the next 2 Fridays. If you guys have any questions, make sure that you yell them out there in all caps so that I can see them. And I don't know what else to say. I think it's going to be a beautiful journal, and I am loving all of the ephemera that I'm making for it. And I'm hoping that by the time we're done doing this journal, I have tons of ephemera, because this kind of botanical ephemera, if you're making along with me in the 365 series in the mornings or whenever I upload them, you're going to have a lot of beautiful, if you're decorating like me, botanical ephemera. And that kind of ephemera can be tucked into any journal. You could tuck it in a fairy journal. You could tuck it in a Victorian journal. It's just botanical. Even if it was a mushroom pocket, nobody would care. It would go perfectly with anything. So the thing with botanical is it really can go any direction you want it to go. You could make a botanical fairy journal. You could make a steampunk botanical journal. You could make the field note sciencey kind of journal that I'm thinking of making, a little more industrial botanical, like she's actually doing field studies and work, so it's more science oriented. That's where my brain wants to go. I just need to make sure I find a digital that goes along with that theme. But again, when I find digitals, I will let you guys know. I might do a separate video and just show you the pages and tell you where I got them so that you guys can get them and get them printed before next Friday. So as soon as I get mine and get mine printed, I will do a separate little video and I'll just show you guys the pages and I will link whoever I got them from so you guys can go straight over there and get them. I think that's a good plan. That way you guys have them printed. If you want them, you have them printed and ready for next Friday. Is there anything else I'm missing? What is next Friday? The 7th. We're good. We're absolutely good. So yeah, all a good plan there. I'm okay. I have to clean out a bunch of storage things at my dad's house. Tomorrow in the morning is when it starts, and then we'll have to do a lot more Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and into Monday of next week. It's all of my mom's old stuff that she just kept packing boxes and putting it in storage instead of actually getting rid of it. She loved antiques too, and since I always owned an antique store, I tried to get her into it, and so she was always buying things and trying to learn about them because I would teach her stuff, and then she would get into it and she would collect whatever it was for a period of time and buy whatever and get a collection, and then she would get tired of that collection and then she would buy some other stuff and like start collecting that as she learned more and more about it. She sold some stuff on eBay, which when she passed, she had a bunch of cartons of bubble mailers that I guess she got from eBay. And so sometimes I send your guys' stuff in those bubble mailers because they were left and my dad was going to throw them away when she passed away. And I'm like, well, obviously I can use bubble shipping things. So that's why I have those. But she just had a whole big bunch of stuff. And so I'm also scheduling because I don't have time and I don't want to take the stuff that needs sold, the antique stuff. I don't want to take that stuff. I don't want to do eBay. That's just, I don't have time for it. I can't. And unfortunately, nobody else in my family knows anything about antiques. So what I'm going to do over the next week is schedule a bunch of antique dealers to come out there and pick through all of the stuff. When I say the stuff, I mean, you guys know those steel shipping containers that you see on like the big ships in the sea that come over from overseas. They have 4 of those shipping containers full of things. Not all of it is antiques, not all of it is my mom's collection, but her main collection that she collected for the longest I can remember, she collected vintage costume jewelry. And she has one entire storage container that is all full of vintage costume jewelry. And yes, it's worth a lot of money and somebody could sit there and piece it out and put it onto eBay, but we are not going to do that. I am going to unload that so that people can see it. And then I will have dealers come and either buy portions of it or buy the entire lot as it is. It's a very large lot and it's probably more than one individual dealer would want. So that's what I'm going to do over the next week. We're trying to get it done before it gets hot here because we've got, maybe a couple weeks before we start hitting 100. It's supposed to be kind of nice tomorrow. So that's kind of what we're doing. I've hired people to come help because even though we have a large family, no one will come help my dad other than me. And I don't get it because I have brothers. Anyway, so usually, because I'm the oldest girl, usually most things fall on my shoulders. So I'm going to go and do that and get that done for him. Because you got to keep in mind, my dad, he's pretty old. He can't really do anything on his own. So I'm going to go over there and handle that. But I did hire some people to come help because it was impossible for him and I to do it, right? So we're just going to get it done and then it'll be all over. And then he's planning on getting rid of those steel containers from his property because, he didn't want them there. It was more my mom's thing, right? And so we're kind of just trying to prep his house and his property and clean it up. And, if he was to pass, all of that stuff would be sitting there and that would take a long time for us to figure out what to do with and get it cleaned out. So we're trying to, not that we're preparing for him to pass, but we're just trying to make sure that there is less of a burden for all of us whenever this does happen. And maybe he would want to move into a different place, as he gets older and he can't handle it on his own. So anyway, we're just trying to make sure all of that kind of stuff is taken care of. And Oh my gosh, I have a bunch of costume jewelry for us. I brought home some of it. I will probably bring home some more for us, and then I don't know what, I'll sell you guys little bundles of costume jewelry or something. I don't know. But I do have some for us here. It's just there's just no way. Like I've already taken whatever, things that were sentimental to me, and there's just no way that I could keep no one in our family can keep the amount of things that she was collecting. A lot of things, she got, like, I gave her whatever, and I've already taken those things because nobody else wanted them, whatever. My brothers and sisters, they're not into, antique stuff. And so it's kind of sad because, my mom's not here and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's a lot of work and a lot of burden. And then I sit here and I look at myself and all of this stuff that's behind me and in other rooms. And I'm like, you got to be better about this. You can't leave this mess for your children either. So it's kind of like a teaching moment for me, I guess, because I have to deal with all my mom's stuff. And I'm sitting there going, gosh, you cannot leave this mess for your kids. So I need to be much better about not having so much stuff sitting here in case something were to happen. Not that it's going to, obviously. I'm much younger than my mother, but anyway, I will bring you guys a bunch of late 70s is how old he is. I will bring you guys a bunch of costume jewelry and whatever else is there that I think that we can use. Not that I need more stuff, but um, I will bring whatever it is that I can bring for us. And if there's, I don't know what there is. I mean, I know what there is, but I don't know what we're going to get into over there. I would really like, because obviously I was in the industry, I have a bunch of dealers that are in my phone. I've always kept their contacts. Still to this day, I will buy and sell different things with them. I have collections that, like my mom, I'll get tired of a collection and I'll be like, okay, well, you know, I can pass this to a dealer who can make some money off of it. And I've known these dealers for probably almost, some of them almost the whole 25 years. But so it's just, I've got the connections to do it. And so that's what's going to happen. We're just going to let the dealers come and do what they need to do. Whatever is left after we get through with the dealers, I think the plan is to donate, but we have to see what all is left. And I'm trying to get my brothers and sisters to come through, because even though they say that they don't care about it, I'm trying to get them to come through one time where I've pulled out some of the nicer things, especially some stuff that I know my mom really loved or cared for. And maybe if they come, I can tell them that, oh, mom really liked this, and maybe that will mean something to them. So I'm really hoping that my brothers and sisters take more of it, just so that, because once it's gone, and you can never get it back. And I think we've all probably been in that position where we didn't keep something of one of our parents who's passed. And then maybe it's 10 or 20 years down the road, but you really wish you would have kept that, or something that you yourself owned and you got rid of because you moved or whatever. And you're like, darn, I really wish I still had that. So one last time before it's all gone, I would like my brothers and sisters to come and do it. Oh my gosh. The possibilities of what you can do with costume jewelry and junk journals is endless. Obviously, it's just a ton of embellishing and all the little rhinestone earrings, they make little paper clips, just a million different things with it. But I'm not sure, you know, the more expensive things, obviously, we're not going to be using for junk journals, those kind of things. I mean, a brooch can be $500. So it just, I mean, they can be more than that. But for costume jewelry, if you were not aware, that vintage costume jewelry that some of our parents had, or some of us had ourselves, depending on your age, that stuff has gone up in value so much that you would not believe. And my mom was selling bits and pieces of it as she went, but she did keep a lot that she really liked. Or she just had stuff that she hadn't even sorted through yet. So she was finding gold and she was finding silver and all this stuff. And none of us have the time to do it. So we're just going to hopefully sell it as a lot. But anyway, there's good stuff. There's junk stuff. There's just everything in there. So whenever we do it, we'll get to it. We have a larger family. That's all I'm going to say about that. We have a larger family. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. That's my chit chat for today. This is a task at hand. If you guys are like the oldest daughter, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, how most things fall on your shoulders, and it's okay. Like, that's the burden, right? It's okay. Tracy had her beautiful red beaded necklace and earrings from the 1940s. That was your grandma's. Aw, it broke and it went everywhere. Always looking for something like it. I know that stuff kind of happens to, I think, all of us, where there's just something where we have this attachment to it, and it's a sentimental attachment. And if you had it and you lost it, or you no longer own it, a lot of times you can find something similar by going to eBay or something like that. But I think it's more serendipitous if you just, every time you go to an antique store or whatever, eventually through serendipity, you might find that one thing, or you might find something else that you also remember that other person having, or, something else sentimental. I do have a lot of my mother's things, but there's a limit because I have my own antiques. Like there's a limit to how much things I can have. And so I more or less kept things that I had a direct memory of her using, or a story because it had been in our family for a long time or something like that. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, guys. The Christmas jewelry, yeah. So every time you guys know those, they're velvet, they're in like gold gaudy picture frames, and they're usually velvet or silk, or some kind of nice fabric in the background. And people took the costume jewelry and they made Christmas trees in like a picture frame. So they would take all the earrings and bits and pieces from costume jewelry, and they would make it into a tree shape in a picture frame. Every time one of those came into my antique store, or I bought one when I bought somebody's estate, or whatever the case may be, every time I found one of those, I gave it to my mom. And my mom used to have tons of them. I don't know what she actually did with them, because I haven't seen really what she did with a lot of stuff, because they moved, and she was always packing it up and putting it in the storage container, and then starting a new collection or whatever. But she used to have a lot of those kind of things, and they were always fun to look at, because as a junk journaler, you can see where they took apart all the little best pieces of costume jewelry, and they just arranged it, and they were so beautiful. And so if I find one of those, I probably like to keep that, just because I haven't found one from hers yet, and I know that I gave her many, so it'd be nice if I could find one that I actually gave her and keep that. But obviously, what are you going to do with it? It's so gaudy looking. What are you going to do with a big gaudy gold frame with a bunch of costume jewelry in a shape of a Christmas tree? Like, I might display it at Christmas, but what would I do with the rest of the year? So there's just all kinds of stuff like that. Like, yes, it's beautiful. Yes, you love it, but what would you do with it? So anyway, um, don't let it break your heart that the Christmas trees were done that way. So I know out here, there were classes that the women took in all of the retirement communities around me. There were classes where they taught the women, bring all of your broken costume jewelry and make these Christmas tree pictures, because I can remember it when I was a child. And there was also those ceramic classes where they made those beautiful ceramic Christmas trees with the big Christmas light bulbs on all the branches. We have one of those also. My mom also has some of those somewhere in storage. I do like the Christmassy things that she had, and I've already got, her collection of old ornaments and things like that. But anyway, it'll just be kind of fun to see all of this stuff again, and it will also be kind of sad because my mom really liked that stuff, and in the end, she didn't get a chance to do anything with it, or she died way too young. Like, she died, she got cancer when she was 69, and it was, stage 4. So she just didn't have any time. She lived for 2 years, but she didn't have, like, even that 2 years, like, you're sick, you've been told by your doctors you're going to die. Like, there was just, she just didn't have enough time to do what she was planning on doing with that stuff. And so when she put it into storage, it was because she planned on doing something else with it at some point in time. And so it will be a little sad that it's all of her plans that she never got to fulfill. And so I don't want to I don't want to leave this earth like that either. So we're going to finish our projects and we're going to organize this mess behind me and all the other rooms so that my stuff is not so much of a burden on my children. It's okay. Like I'm not going to cry or anything like that. I really have not even cried since she passed away. I cried when I knew she was, like, when I was told she was going to pass away, but I really haven't cried because, if you're religious, it's a little different, right? So, it's okay, I know it's okay. So I know it's okay. It's all good. Like, you know, it's she's in a good place. So, on that note of all this stuff, I didn't want to go down the trauma version of it, which I'm not, but I'm just saying that's what I'm going to do for the next week. I'll bring whatever I bring for you guys. So, one of my biggest loves of collecting was always the china. I have, I don't know how many sets of china. My son and I live here. There are no other people that live here, and I probably have at least 12 sets of china, like formal china, because I love it. I have always loved dishes and china and glassware and all of that kind of stuff. And so sometimes a set would come my way, a set of china would come my way, and it was just so beautiful. And I'm like, oh, so I have a set of china that we use at Easter. I have a set of china that we use at Thanksgiving. I have a set of china that we use at Christmas. I have random other sets of china that are seasonal that I bring out for like spring or so I'm always rotating the set of china that we use, and at any given moment there is at least 4 sets of china in the actual cabinet where we're using it every day. But I do like to have an entire set of china for each holiday. And my plan is that when I go, my children will also take those sets of china and continue on the tradition of, this was the set of Christmas china that we always used, and this was the set of Easter china that we always use. I don't know if that will happen that way because, your children might have different plans and different styles and whatever. But I am lucky that both of my children do like antiques because, when they were younger, when they were teenagers, they hated it. They used to tell me they were going to sell everything in my antique store for like 50 cents because they just hated it and wanted it to go. They used to have to come to the antique store with me sometimes after school and like sit there and do their homework or work there a little bit. And they were just like, this is boring. This is old junk. This is not fun. All of my friends get fun jobs. Like they get to go work at Starbucks and I have to work at your antique store. So, they didn't really like it when they were teenagers. But when they got to be like, I will say, maybe 22, 23, 24, they really started to appreciate what I did and what, all the things that had a history and all that kind of stuff. And now both my son and my daughter are very into old stuff, vintage stuff. And plus vintage stuff has never been more popular. It used to be like, if you think back to like the 90s and early 2000s, vintage stuff was not collected by the young people hardly at all. Now the young people would rather buy vintage than they would buy new. And I love that. That is wonderful. It's wonderful for the planet. It's wonderful for everybody. I think it's just good peace of mind and good mojo out there that the young people are actually appreciating the old things, not only for the way that they look, but for the history of them and for saving the planet from not always buying new, and just throwing stuff away. So I think this is a unique time for vintage stuff, which I think is part of the reason why junk journals are becoming so popular. Every month, I think that the junk journal community grows by leaps and bounds. It used to be very, very small, and it is slowly becoming mainstream. Like when scrapbooking was like, what is this? And then scrapbooking got really, really big, and now it's kind of tapering down and junk journals are taking over. So, there's ebbs and flows with everything, but I'm super happy that the young people are I mean, I see them wearing vintage clothes. My daughter's asked me for my old jeans, and, she legitimately wanted to wear all these things. She wanted to wear my old wedding dress, but I was very, very small when I got married. So there was no way she was going to fit in my wedding dress. Even before she was pregnant, she wasn't going to fit in my wedding dress. She's a very small woman, but I was a very, very small woman. I was like 97 pounds. So there was not really an option for her to fit in that. Plus, she was pregnant, and we couldn't find it because my wedding dress is actually in one of those storage containers because my mother was keeping it. And there was no way, That's the other thing too, is we're going to find all the boxes of family photos and things like that, because my mother was the only person that knew where stuff was in those. And obviously she didn't draw us a map, she had other things on her mind. So there was no way for us to even find my wedding dress, but I will find it. Maybe tomorrow, but I will find it. And then from there, I can give it to my daughter and she can have it or whatever, but, or keep it for her or something. But anyway, that's what's going on. And that's a little chit chat about antiques. Are we ready to get this party started with the Botanical Journal? I see lots of you got here while I was chit chatting. Hello and welcome. Welcome to everyone. All these antique stories. See, I love the fact that you guys will talk about vintage and antique stuff. I think it's very fun to talk about because everybody can remember their mom, their grandma, whatever, their grandpa having stuff. And so most of us are here because we like vintage, right? So for our little community, it's a great topic. A barrel of china. They did used to ship china in barrels. Yep. You guys, I know, I pretty much know every single maker of china and pattern that there is out there. Oh my gosh. If you're ever looking for china, like if you have a set, we are crafting, but if you're ever looking for china because you have a set and you had some broken pieces or there's missing pieces or whatever, I used to sell to Replacements Limited when I had the antique store. They would just buy, whatever pieces they needed or whatever. And so I used to sell to Replacements Limited, and that is where I go now when I need something that I either broke or is missing or whatever. And sometimes you have to build those collections slowly over time, but Replacements Limited is a great place to even just go and look at all the different patterns of china, whether you're looking for English bone china or you're looking for American china or china that was made in Japan. There's all different kinds of china there and very, very beautiful. So if you want to go check it out at Replacements Limited, you can look up all those sets that your parents and grandparents used to have, and then you'll be shocked at the prices and wish that you guys all would have kept them. Okay. Oh, Jenny, I bet you have eaten off china. I bet you have. Some people think that china has to look a certain way, but I bet you have eaten off of china. Very, very common. There's different levels of china. China can just be china. China can be super, super expensive, fine English bone china too, with good manufacturers. So Johnson Brothers Christmas dishes. Yeah. Mine are not, I don't think mine are Spode. I have Spode Christmas dishes. Is that right? I'll have to check. I have a lot of sets of Spode. Spode was always one of my favorite. I have a large set of the red Spode Tower. I think it's called Red Tower. See, I haven't really bought or shopped for it for so long because I have all my sets, but the Red Spode Tower is in one of my French china cabinets, and we don't eat off of that. It's in there. It's in there for looking at. It's one of the sets that looks kind of like, toile patterns. It's very, very beautiful. And so anyway, with all that, we're going to start making a journal. I'm going to flip the camera down. You guys are going to see the video that I just uploaded because I just took this thumbnail picture. And so that stuff is there. But I'm going to move the monitor and move that stuff out of the way, and we're going to get started. And so I made these pockets. You're getting a little sneak peek, but I made these pockets. Let me pop these out of the way. I need to put them in the ephemera box. So, guys, we're going to collage a cover. Hopefully, I chit-chatted long enough that you guys were able to grab your supplies so that we can get started. I'm going to turn on this other light, and I'm going to drink this vitamin water real quick while I read some chat. Ming China. Lenox Christmas China. I do love Lenox too, but I don't have any sets of Lenox. When it came down to choosing, I always found one I liked better that wasn't Lenox. Lenox has a specific look usually, and I was just not into that right now. Tiffany and Company. I used to have some Christmas dishes from Tiffany and Company. However, when I started having children, I decided that maybe the Tiffany and Company dishes were better off in somebody else's care because they were so astronomically expensive. So I did sell the Tiffany and Company. So in chat, tell me what, like, if you have China or if you have a favorite pattern of China, tell me what your guys' favorite China is. If you know the manufacturer, if you know the pattern, tell me what your guys' favorite China is. I have sold so many pieces of carnival glass in my lifetime. I don't know that I currently own any that at least I'm aware of, but I sold, oh my gosh, thousands of pieces, especially the Fenton carnival glass. Oh my gosh. We are starting, Vicky. We are. Depression glass, the yellow green uranium that glows under the black light. Yep. My brother has all of that. I used to have this massive china cabinet full of it. I used to collect that. That was one of my favorite things. And now my brother has that. And every time I find a piece at my mom's, I give it to him so he can keep it. He has a special cabinet that he has a black light installed so that they can see that all the time. So that was something nice that he could keep, from me and my mom. I see Noritake. I love Noritake. That's awesome. Spode Blue Willow. That was one of the ones that I was debating on for this house when I moved in because I wanted a blue and white kitchen. I bought some of the Spode Blue Willow and then I decided that that was not the pattern for me, but I do love Spode. Dixie Dogwood. I have not seen that one. I mean, I probably have, but I can't picture it in my head. Botanical theme in your home. That's awesome. I think Mismatched China is awesome, guys. It's awesome. The Easter dishes I have, they are from Germany. They're Bavarian, and they made a bunch of different Haviland, Bavarian China sets. And so they had like different, they all kind of had the same similar look, the same shapes even, but the decoration on them was usually some type of floral. And for Haviland, there is so many different patterns. So what I did for Easter is I collected one full place setting in a bunch of different patterns. So 12 different patterns, but so there's like a blue flower set and there's a pink rose set and then there's a different, kind of flower set. And so each place setting is a different flower, different pattern, but it's all from the same manufacturer around the same time. All of it has gold trim. So that's what we use at Easter. Spode and Noritake, Eggshell Nautilus from Homer Laughlin. Yep, yep. Royal Albert. Royal Albert's beautiful. American Beauty. Yep. I have had many a Royal Albert. Many sets of Royal Albert in my time. Friendly Village. That is an all-time favorite by a lot of people from Johnson Brothers. Awesome, awesome. Transferware and floral. I love transferware. Hello, hello, everyone. Homer Laughlin, I know. They make everything from Fiesta to all those beautiful little floral patterns. So cute. So cute. Yes, you guys need to use your things, whether it be paper or china, you need to use it. You don't enjoy it unless you're using it, right? So I'm just finishing this vitamin water and then we're getting started. Pull out your kit. You're going to want your envelope and you're going to want all your pieces for collaging. You had 8 sets, but you had to give them away because you were downsizing. I get it. I have also downsized in different points of my life. Oh, I hope not. I hope there's not bots joining. I don't think so. I don't see it. The Dansk China, that was always beautiful too. Different look, but yes. Toby mugs, we used to have a big old bunch of those too. Those used to get really pricey. I don't know where they're at now, but those used to get really pricey. The Fiesta ware, and that's something that they still make is the Fiesta ware. And I was trying to get my daughter to get into the Fiesta ware because she really likes color and happy dishes, but she just wasn't at a point where she wanted it yet. Uh-oh. Stolen dishes? I have not heard of, I don't know what that is. H.R. Wiley? I don't know what that is. Did somebody steal your China, Soldier Mom? It, it might be sad when I have to downsize, but hopefully when I'm at the point of downsizing, I am also retired and just crafting for fun. You have sea mist, awesome. Fiesta ware. How many of you guys have jadeite? How many of you guys have like Homer, not Homer Laughing. How many of you guys have Anchor Hawking in your kitchen or Pyrex collections? And yes, we are crafting. I'm still drinking my water. I'm almost done. Currier and Ives Blue Willow, also a favorite. I have a bunch of blue transfer platters hung on my wall. I have a bunch of Flow Blue platters hung on my wall. I do have a bunch of Pyrex because it was my mom's. I would not let that stop you, Darla. You just gotta get what you love, and if something happens, then it happens. You gotta make yourself happy. So we had the pink Cinderella, we had the blue, I don't know what it's called. I'll remember in a minute, but the blue farm people with the corn. Um, my aunt has the orange farm people with the corn. It's not called that, but it has a specific pattern. But gosh, I have the primary set from my mother because I think everybody's mother had the primary set. Okay, I finished my water. Thank you guys for letting me do that. I have all of my mom. We have the entire set. We actually have three sets of it. The Fire King tulip was what my mom got gifted as a wedding gift. And so that is what she had. She collected it all. And then, of course, when she had hers, I also had to have one. So I collected a whole nother set. And then over time, sets just came my way. And so we actually have three sets. I was hoping that my daughter would take one. I'm turning off autofocus. I was hoping my daughter would take one, but no such luck so far. Let me grab an envelope so we can get started. Okie doke. So this is what we're making our cover out of. I just tore this one, but that's okay. So this is what we are going to make our cover out of. So you're going to want to grab this out of your kit. This guy has two window things on his envelope. He is a envelope that has a flap up here on the top. Like some of these envelopes have a flap on the side. This one has one at the top. It doesn't matter if you have an envelope. All of the kits have this envelope. But if you're using supplies at home and you have an envelope that opens on the side, that doesn't matter. In fact, I may end up sealing this and opening my sides. It just, I'm not there yet. We'll figure it out as we go. But so it doesn't matter what kind of envelope you have. This guy measures 10 by 13, I believe. I measured him before. Let's check it. Yeah, 10 by 13. So 10 by 13 cover. You don't have to use a cover made out of an envelope. You could just get a piece of cardstock and collage the cardstock and fold it and use that for your cover. But for me, I'm going to collage directly onto my envelope. That's the plan anyway. I don't know if I'm going to leave these windows where you can see anything or not. So if we're going to make a traditional cover and we're going to fold it like this, you can see the envelope with the part of the window is going to be right on the spine. So I don't think I'm going to leave it to where we can see out of the envelope, out of the window. I keep saying envelope. I don't think I'm going to leave it where we can see out of the window. At least not yet. I will start collaging and then I will see if I'm going to leave them. How about that? If you're going to leave them, you're just going to need to cut your collage pieces or collage right up to that line, or cut your collage pieces so that they go around the corner when you put it there. You can trace it with your pencil. So if you're going to leave your window in, you'll just collage around it. When I do my collage, I have planned on not bringing it all the way to the edge because I kind of wanted to see what these green things would look like with the collage around it, but not covering it. So that part is still fluid. I may or may not bring it all the way to the edge. I may leave it where I can see them. I don't know. We'll have to see as I go. And so I'm going to collage the front of it, maybe, or I could collage this part here, and this could be the outside cover, and it could go like this. We would just glue this down, probably on the inside, so that you could put a big tall tag or journal card in here. But this could be the cover, and we could collage all over this, and then maybe you could have your window showing on the inside and put something in there. So that's an option too. The reason why I was not really liking having these windows on the outside of the cover is A, it's going to be on the spine, and B, these windows are not very sturdy. And I don't want our cover to like get caught. Like even when I was just pulling this envelope out of the stack, it got caught right here and tore. So I think it might be a better idea to collage this side. So that's kind of where I'm headed, is figuring that out. Obviously, you're going to want something to glue on because we're going to be collaging probably at some point up to the edge. So you're going to want something, to glue on with your glue stick. You're going to want to use an Oohoo glue stick. This is the 1.4 ounce size from Amazon. You buy a box of 12 of them on Amazon. This you're gonna need several of these probably. And then you're gonna want your bits and pieces for collaging. So throughout the night, if you guys have any questions, you're going to need to type them in all caps, and you guys in chat can either answer for me, or you can give me a heads up that somebody needs something and I will try to answer. So for pieces for collaging, you want stuff that is neutral. If you're going to collage, if you're trying to do what I'm doing here tonight specifically, you're going to want pieces for collage that are neutral. Pieces with handwriting, pieces of ledger, pieces with book page. I'm going to keep all of my pieces straight cut. So I've already got a bunch of them cut right here. So that's what I'm going to use. And then I'm going to mix in botanical things and some pattern paper because I want to be able, to mix up what I'm doing. So if you look right here, this is exactly where I'm going. I'm going to do it very neutral with some botanical images showing through. And when I mean botanical, I don't want super heavy, dark, thick botanical images. Like you saw this one, I don't know where it is now, but when you saw that one, it was very light. It had open space. It was very small little flowers. It wasn't like a big pink flower or a big purple flower. You're going to want to keep this very light and airy and neutral, in my opinion. You all have your own style and you can do whatever you want to do, but that's where I'm going with mine, okay? I know some of you like to try to do exactly what I do, and some of you totally want to do your own thing, and it's all good. You don't have to do it any particular way. You do it how you want to do it. So here's some more music that I could cut up. Obviously, I have a ton of book page I can cut up. Here's some little bit of handwriting, maybe. I don't know if I want that, but it is there. I'm going to put it in this pile. I doubt I will. Here's some text. Here's some leftover botanicals. I don't know if I was planning on fussy cutting those or what. The botanicals that I'm showing you right now, they came out of the Florilegium book. So those are the ones I'm talking about. You've got some graph paper, and so I definitely want to try to add some stuff like this in there. You guys use whatever you want to use, but right now I'm just sorting through some scraps and looking and seeing what I have and if I want to use anything particular. I know I'm going to grab a bunch of antique old documents and use those because I want mine to have a lot of handwriting in it. So this is the other pile I was looking for. So there is some Florentine in here. I don't want to use Florentine on my cover. I'm not looking for this heavy dark color. I'm looking for something very light and airy. Okay. So while those pieces are in there, I will try to pull them out. Let me see. What else do we have here? Stuff like this would be great for handwriting. You could use a digital so that you didn't have to use your original, because I know those pages are, you know, they're very expensive pages. So you could certainly scan and use a digital. And from there, I've got a bunch of book pages. You could use paper like this, the craft paper. I don't know that I'm going to, but maybe. I don't know yet. And then from there, you have, if you're going to use Florentine, try to use open and airy patterns. Not like, try to stay away from heavy, and even that is still kind of light looking. Try to stay away from heavy. This is heavy. There's a lot of color there. This is heavy. This is just more open space. You're looking for open space. Okay. So we've talked about that. Here's some more pieces. Don't really want that. Maybe that. And then next, we're going to talk about pulling. We do have some scraps of that. Talk about pulling some antique documents and cutting those up. So just grab whatever it is that you think that you want to use. I have some, these tore a little bit on the edge, so I couldn't use them in a kit, but I've got that. And these are nice because they have different color. So when you pull your book page, you might want to pull super dark and grungy and a little bit lighter. You pull whatever you want, but just going to pull some of those. When I'm done going through this pile, we'll get started with collage. So I'm giving you plenty of time to grab supplies, I guess. Don't worry, we're going to have plenty of time to get this done tonight. In fact, we're going to have extra time and we will do extra projects. This piece of music is nice and dark, so maybe you want that. You might want to put some Asian in there if you want. You could certainly mix that in. Nobody says you can't. Here's a bunch of botanical pages. That's nice. Here's some music. Nice. Here's some more of this. This is what I was looking for. The French school book with the handwriting. There's straw paper that you could put in there. I probably won't, but it's got too much orange color for me, but you could certainly put something like that in there. I actually like both of these ledger pages. So we might cut up those ledger pages. What else do we have? We've got many other pages and documents. I'm kind of skipping through now. Got some focal points down there. Some digital papers. Things from Etsy that I printed. And I don't know, there was a couple questions about Etsy downloads. So anyone who ever buys any digital from me, you download the digital directly from Etsy. Etsy, I upload the images to them, and then you download the images from Etsy. That being said, sometimes you go, so Etsy normally you buy the item, so you put it in your cart, you check out, or you click buy it now and you buy it, and then you complete your purchase, and then to download your digital in Etsy, you go out of that screen where you just completed your purchase and you go to your little, it's like a little head icon where your account is. And in there is where you go to your purchases. In your account, go to your purchases and then go to the purchase that you just bought from me. And then from there, it will have a button that will say download your files. Then you click that button and you download all of the individual files, and then at that point you have them on your computer and you can print them, or you can change the size, or you can take them into Photoshop and alter them, or whatever it is that you want to do with them. And so I know a lot of people were asking that, and a lot of people were also asking how you download the freebie that I put into the Facebook group. And the freebie that goes in the Facebook group, you're going to have to right click it. If you have a computer, you're going to right click it with your mouse and you're going to save it to your computer, and then you can print it from there. Otherwise, you know, there's iPads, and somebody said there's dots at the top. I don't download things to my iPad. So for individual devices like that, you're just going to look on the internet and ask, how do I download a photograph to my iPad? And then it might help you there. For individual devices, I don't necessarily have, you know, all the instructions for individual things, because I may not, I don't have, I have an iPad, but I don't download things on it. In fact, my iPad's probably been dead for like 6 months because I just don't use it. But anyway, I pulled a bunch of things. The last thing I need to do is cut some things up, and then we're good to go. I'm going to pull some more antique book pages because I know I want those. I have really been enjoying this kind of handwritten stuff, so I'm going to grab a couple of those because I might want to do that. This is very old paper from the 1600s, so it has a specific look to it, and this is kind of where I'm going with mine. Let's see what else there is that I can pull and cut up. This is a good use it up project. Okay, let's see what's in this bin. I have a giant bin where I keep all of the torn papers that don't come out of books correctly, like torn ledger pages and all of that kind of stuff. Like here's a nice German dictionary page. I have some end papers in this bin. Let's see what else there is here. There's like French checks that came and they were just torn or too damaged. There's some French newspapers. There's this page that just had some fun numbers on it. Let's see what else there is. So dig through your stuff and you can use all kinds of little bits and bobs for this project. Ooh, there's all kinds of fun pages in here. Here's some onion skin. A little bit of onion skin in there. There's several bits of that. Let's see what else. Here's some beautiful German ledger with beautiful handwriting. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's a sheet of school book writing. I found a bunch more onion skin. I didn't even know I had that. So awesome. I also found some very dark dictionary pages. Those would be cute. On this ledger page, this is a good ledger page. A very, very good ledger page. What else? What else? I found an old calendar. Okay, I think we're getting there. I don't know what else I'm going to find or need, but let's go ahead and get started. There's that one. So you can see I just pulled bits and bobs of everything. All different kinds of things. Okay. Half of the fun is the digging part. Let me put this bin back and let's get started. Alrighty. So you may want to collage the inside and the outside of your envelope. You may want to do that. I have a ton of things now to play with. That is like my treasure bin, because you know, like these are already torn and whatever, so there's no guilt of using any of that stuff. Perfect. I love it. Now let's get it cut up into small pieces. I'm going to get my chair. I see you guys chatting away. I don't, to me, they never come in an email. I think Etsy does maybe send you the purchase in an email, so that's possible. I just download them right when I buy them. I don't wait for Etsy to send me any emails. I actually don't look at any emails from Etsy, not on the purchasing side. Okay, I definitely want to use this. I think this is fabulous. So let's clean this guy up and let's cut him up into pieces. So I like these little sciencey looking numbers. I'm going to try to save what I can save of it. It's printed a little crooked, but I'm going to try to cut it to where it looks straight. That's pretty good. I'm going to leave that torn just like that. So any special pieces that I know without a doubt that I want on my cover, I'm going to put up here in this pile. And those are my special pieces. And I don't really want to cut all of this on here, so I'll move it. And then we've got things I might use, but not sure I will. Here's this is super brown dictionary. So sometimes you have pieces of paper that are a little too fragile to use on their own. Like you can't use something in a journal because it's too fragile as a page. So you could use it as collage. So I'm just kind of following the text and cutting along, and we'll cut these up. This page actually did come. There's a folio, I think, in your, either a folio or a page. I can't remember what we ended up doing, but there is this page in your kit, the German dictionary. Let's do this handwriting. I believe I will probably end up using it, but it's kind of heavy looking. So if it's heavier, I want smaller pieces of it. So anything that has a little too much pattern and less open space, I'll just cut into smaller pieces. And I won't cut them all the same size, but you know, we'll see. I might save these signatures that are over here. And this little bit here, it's a lot of open space, but this is paper from the 1630s. So I do save that and then I stamp on it. So here's a piece with the signature, and then we'll cut this guy like this. So there's a 1600s document cut. The onion skin, if you have any onion skin, save that to the end. Don't cut it up right now. Save that to the end because I do have a special thing in mind for onion skin. So I'm going to set that up at the top because we're going to be placing that over top of our collage. So then I'm just going to go through here and cut this guy up. Some of you guys have ledgers very similar to this going to be on their way very soon. Then you guys can have all the things too and use them. You know, if you get a ledger with 500 pages, then you're a little more likely, or you feel a little bit better about using it, right? Sometimes when you only have, you know, a little bit of something, it seems precious and you don't want to use it. A lot of times I will buy one to use and one to just, you know, hoard. So that's a thing too. One to keep and one to use. I'm going to cut some this way. So I'm just cutting up all of my pieces. Don't really care, you know, if I cut up something, whatever, it's fine. I don't need to cut up too terribly much more, but I'm looking for some variety. I'm looking for some beautiful handwriting. And so this piece was already cut. This ledger I have, it's from 1850. I don't know if I have it or I had it. I actually only have pages that I know where they are. There probably is the rest of the ledger somewhere, but I don't know where I put this one. Maybe it's on that shelf behind me, because we haven't actually seen this one in a long time. So I'm cutting, these are people's names and how much money they made or how many hours they worked or something to that effect. And I'm just cutting out some of this. I don't need this whole page cut. Let's cut this guy down. We'll save that 1852. So maybe I will go ahead and collage the front and the back of my envelope. Don't know. I'm going to save the rest of this. I don't think I need it all. Let's cut this big. And let's cut this in half. Okay, so there's some of that. I will cut some of this ledger as well. Look at how pretty this ledger is. This ledger is from 1826. It's a very, very pretty ledger. And it's rag paper. And so I like to use a little bit of rag paper on the cover also because you get the texture. In a collage masterboard, you get the texture. And so these covers are basically collage masterboards. They're just going to be done on a cover. So there we go. Got some pieces of that. Now at any point in time, I can come in and I can say that those pieces are too big and I would rather have some smaller pieces. And I can cut them back down again. But at least I've started them, because your eye needs to see, you know, your eye needs to see pieces before it can decide what it likes. At least mine does. So now we need to focus on getting some botanicals cut up. I have quite a bit of the neutral stuff. We need to focus on cutting up the botanicals. So these are all pages out of the Florilegium book. And I'm not looking for this kind of thing. I'm looking for more wispy and open. So this is a good one because it's wispy and open. Also, if you use the wispy and open ones, you're less likely to fussy cut something so intricate. So using the wispy ones in this project is a good idea. Like I might use this, but I definitely would not use this. This is too heavy feeling. And this is borderline too heavy feeling. Let me see what else I have in here. Just looking for wispy. Don't want the focal points, just want the wispy. And so you did get a folio of this Florilegium in your kit. If you choose to use it in collage, you know, that's okay. You're using it for a good purpose. Otherwise, you could sew it into the signature of your journal. This is a good wispy one. So we have several wispy ones here to cut up. Let's get started with those. And so I'm just going to cut off the white. I'm actually going to cut a little more of the white off. And so I've got a trash pile going here on my surface, and I'm just cutting, cutting, cutting. Who's crafting along and actually collaging their cover with me tonight? Do we have people actually crafting or just hanging out? Hanging out and crafting later, maybe? That one almost fell on the floor behind my desk. So I'm going to leave these. I'm going to leave them about this size. They're about a 2x2. So there's those. I'm going to keep those off to this side. And so this guy doesn't really matter. We're just going to cut him. I was trying to look and make sure that I got pieces that I wanted. And when we cut them, I'm going to leave these words down here because those are the kind of words I'm looking for, the little handwritten kind. I believe they're the Latin names of the plants. And so that's perfect. Either side of these are great. And there's that. And then we've got this guy here. Watching for now, hanging out. You want a hardcover. So you can collage on your hardcover exactly the same. A cereal box, whether you're cutting down actual book board or using an old book cover, all of these kinds of things you could collage. If you have like a leather book cover and or a marble one or some kind of book cover that you're repurposing and you really like the way the cover looks, you could always collage on the inside of your cover. You know, exactly the same thing I'm doing here, but collaging on the inside. And so the topper that we make is going to be made in a similar way. So you are going to want to have plenty of collage material for this journal. We're going to use a lot of collaging for this journal. A lot. Okay, let's see if that's enough. If not, I will pull more wispy pages. I'll cut this one, but if not, I will pull more wispy pages out of the Florilegium book. It's a botanical field note journal, so we want to make sure that we have the cover go along with our theme. At least I do. I want people to be able to look at the journal and kind of get an idea of, you know, what they're in store for when they open it up. And so I know several of you have, two of you, I think two, have purchased a journal from me in a live not that long ago. I kind of actually forgot about that. And so I need to finish up those journals next week. And then I will be messaging you and getting you invoiced and shipped. When I do that, when I sell journals, they also come with a pack of papers and things to play with. And so I do want to take my time with that and make you a nice little, you know, packet of things to play with. I mean, it's not super big packet, but I do want to take my time and make that for you. And plus, both of those journals needed a little bit more work. So next week, when I am home in the evenings after doing stuff at my dad's, I will be finishing the two journals that you guys cleaned. And then when they're done and they're ready to ship, if you have other things here, I can try to ship them with that. If you don't have anything here from the super sale or whatever, then I will just send you an invoice for the journals and get those shipped to you. I don't know if I'm going to want this, but I'm going to cut it up anyway. This is one of my favorite Florentine papers to use. I told you guys when I bought it, I thought it was going to be one of my favorites, and it has proven to be one of my favorites. It is such, the paper pattern is so open and nice. It's really almost like a textbook page for me, where you can use it with anything. So I'm just going to cut up some of that, and we're just going to assume that some of it's going to go in here. And so there's some of that. It doesn't really have to be crosses. It's not a religious paper. It's just a pattern paper. Okay, so we're going to cut these, and then I'm about done. So that goes in the neutral pile. Here's another scrap of that. I'll just snip it. This is the last thing. So I will be collaging on some more master boards with all these pieces. I might collage some pockets. We're going to collage envelopes. We're going to collage all kinds of things. Collaging is going to be used a lot for this series. So go ahead and cut yourself up a big bunch of pages. We had some lovely German books that I didn't get to during the super sale. I had so much other things, and I know some of you guys even requested things because I said we were going to do it, and we had so much things we didn't get to. But you know, there's always Tuesdays. Okay, we're ready to get started. Yes, there are quite a few people still sick. I do hope that you guys start feeling better soon, that it is nothing serious. So for the envelope itself, I have to think about this. I think we're just going to collage the back side of it. It doesn't really matter. We need to decide about pocket though. So if you're gonna make, because if you got this envelope, if you have the kit, you can leave this as a pocket up here, or you, so to leave it as a pocket, you're going to want to pull off the self-adhesive strip and tuck the flap in, tuck the flap inside, and that will give you top pockets on the inside. So open up your journal cover. It's a journal cover. There's a big pocket right here. You can thumb hole notch right here. That would definitely help you get your big journal card in and out. If you don't want to do it this way where it's a pocket up here and we're just talking about the pocket, you're going to seal this right here, pull the adhesive strip off and seal it. And then you can have a pocket over here on the side. You can have one for the back cover and one over here on this side for the front cover. To do that, you just seal your envelope and then you come in on the side and cut down a little sliver like with your trimmer so that it is straight, and cut down a little sliver there. From there, you would thumb hole notch if you wanted, and then it would fold over to make your journal cover, and you would have a pocket here. You can divide with glue. If you're making a pocket this way, you can divide it with glue by running a bead of glue, and then you could have two journal cards stick out with like little tabs. So you have many options when using an envelope like this, a big mailing envelope. It gives you options for pockets that we don't otherwise have built into our journal covers. So I really like the idea of having a bead of glue and having, because it would be a really large one journal card. And maybe you like that. It would be amazing, but maybe it's a better idea maybe to run that bead of glue through here and then have the two and have tabs sticking out right there. I think that would be fun. You don't have to have any pockets at all. If the pockets intimidate you, you just seal it down and you collage over everything. And then you don't have to have pockets. If you collaged over everything and sealed it down and didn't make any envelope pockets, you could still add pockets on the inside, the back, here and here. You could even add a pocket on the front. Say we did it like this. You could even, because this journal cover is so big, it's 10 by 13, right? You could add a pocket, like put your centerpiece on here, and it could be a pocket and tuck tags into it that way. So there's so many different things you could do with this. So definitely use whatever you have or use whatever you want. Okay, so I was trying to look at chat there for a second. Let me think about how I want to do this for a sec. I have 3 of them to do, and I could do them all 3 different ways. I could do one with a top pocket and a back pocket, like from the top of the journal. I could do one with the side pockets. I could do a top pocket on the front cover and side pockets on the back cover. There's just so many options. I think I'm going to do a top pocket and a side pocket. I think. I don't know yet, but let's start collaging and we'll figure it out. I'm going to do this as my cover. So the back side of the envelope as my cover. If I did where the windows are, if I did 2 pockets, so this is where the fold is on the inside. If I did 2 pockets by running a bead of glue right here and cutting open this side, I would have a nice pocket here where you would see what was in there in that window. So I think that is really nice on the inside where it is protected. I just worry about leaving it on the outside. So that's why I'm going to do it on the inside. So I'm going to make a pocket right here. So your journal cover is going to fold over like this in the center. And I'm going to run a bead of glue here. I'm going to snip this off, run a bead of glue here, and this is going to be a pocket. Down here, I can make it another pocket if I want to. But the window is only going to be a little tiny bit here. And after you sew your signature in, it's even going to be a little bit less. But I think that's okay. I think I'm going to do another pocket here. And then for the back, you could do a pocket down here, but you don't really have anything here either. So let me figure that out. But for now, let's do it. Okay. So here's what I'm doing. I'm going to pull off my strip. I'm going to tuck this in. I'm not. I'm going to seal it. I'm going to seal it. I can always cut it back open. And I think cutting it open is actually a better idea because the way that it worked, I actually did not mean to do that. I need to add glue there. I got a little too excited. But the way that this is cut a little lower here. So what I'm suggesting you do is you glue it and then you cut it open because this is lower and this is the front of my journal. And so because I want to reinforce this, I don't want this like coming up and pulling all of my collage up. I'm going to glue all the way around it. I'm making sure I'm not gluing down here. I'm not gluing over the fold line for my flap, but I am going to glue my entire flap. I know there's adhesive on it, but you just saw I peeled it back up. So you do kind of want to add a little bit of art glitter and make sure you get it to the edge. So that's the first part. We're going to seal that down. Now we can cut a little sliver up here because I didn't put glue down where the crack was or where the fold was. So we can still cut a sliver and do a top pocket if you want to. Okay. But I think that's a better idea. Aw, so many of you guys sick with the flu. It's so terrible. I don't understand, why we have to have these flus all the time. I don't get it. Okay, so I've got all kinds of piles. I'm going to slide my piles down so you guys can kind of see me work and pull from them. Let me move these glues out of the way. We're going to use glue stick. And here's the scraps that I already had. I'm going to slide everything over so that you guys can see a little bit better. Here's the scraps I already had in this pile. Most of this is neutral, but there is a little bit of Florentine and a couple of the Botanical in here. So I'm going to go through and immediately pull out any of the Florentine. I don't want to use it and I don't want to have to sort through it 100 times either. So I'm just going to pull it out. And I'm keeping everything neutral and then that little bit of Botanical. And we're going to do these covers slightly different than I do the masterboards. The base technique is the same as the masterboards we've always done here, but we're going to do these a little bit different. So there I've got a nice big pile. Okay. Same thing. We're going to glue a quadrant, a quarter of our envelope. I'm not going to worry about pockets at the moment. I planned it out. And now we're going to move on to adding your glue and collaging. You really wanted to score it before you started, but that's okay. I'll score it whenever I get this side collaged. It's nice to score your journal covers before you get too far building them because they fold very nice and you get that perfect straight spine. So you can see I've added glue all the way to the edge. In fact, I'm going in again and making sure that I've got that edge glued down. And now I've got my quadrant here and we're going to start adding pieces on. And I'm going to keep my art glitter glue open and ready to go because all of these pieces that I start with around the edge are going to have art glitter glue also. This is a cover that is collaged. So we're going to want to have art glitter on the edges of it just to make sure that the edges are super, super strong. You don't have to do it this way, but I've got glue stick down there first and then art glitter glue. And I'm just going to start working randomly around here. So I'm going to put that one right there. You can still overhang pieces. You don't have to, get them all perfect. If you overhang them, you're sure that you're going to cut around the back side and make sure that everything is all the way to the edge. If you try to get them perfect like this, sometimes you don't get them all the way to the edge and you might not be happy with that. So just keep that in mind as you go. That you need to try to get things all the way to the edge. If you're worried about not being able to get to the edge because sometimes, you mess up, go over and then cut it up in the next step. So we've got handwriting. It's actually handwritten ledger, botanical. Now I'm going to go with something with the text. And we're going to put the text down here. And I'm going to go over this right now. So you want to make sure that you're very careful with glue. Again, it's a cover, so just make sure you're very, very careful with glue. You want to get a lot of glue on this guy. Okay, so we've got a little section here. I don't care about that. I will more than likely end up going over some of that, going over some of this dictionary, but that's okay. We're going to put some music down. I don't know if this is the right size. It's just not quite long enough. I want music, and I didn't cut up any extra music, and I probably should have. Here's a bigger piece. I think we can cut this down and use it here. I do want to cut a little sliver off of it here. Right there, okay. I'm sizing it as we go. I think this is going to work. And I want to add a little bit of glue here. So just, that's what I'm saying, be overly cautious with the glue and make sure you got it well glued. Okay, so there's, oops, see, it just pulled off. It wasn't a strong, sturdy music. That's okay, I will worry about that in a little bit when we add this piece here. So it wasn't a strong, sturdy piece of music. We've got book page and we've got ledger. Let's go with ledger. Let's get some ledger right through here. And so I'm going to add glue stick. We're just going to cover up where that piece tore off, and we're going to cover over here. I will add back some art glitter because we're at the corner. And then we're going to put this guy on and overhang him. I don't want to leave any pieces too small. I'm leaving at least a ½ inch. And then you can see I overhung pieces. It's hanging off the side of my envelope. That's totally fine. We'll cut them off in a minute. And then I'm going to glue up this next part down here. Really paying attention to getting a lot of glue on the edges. And so we're going to keep working our way around. I want this little piece of music right here. And then you can see that I do have everything kind of lined up on this line right here. It's not really ideal to have that because that's going to be your spine, but I know we're putting something down my spine, so I'm not going to stress about it. If you're not putting lace or fabric or something down your spine, you want your pieces to not end where your spine is going to be. In other words, you would want your pieces going like this so that they're half on and half off where you're going to fold it. Right now, mine are pretty much lined up there. It's not really ideal, but it is what it is. I need to put some glue down here. I've got a chunk of glue stick that needs to come off. And we're going to keep working. And if you line up your pieces and you don't have any gaps, you're good. But if you have a gap, you're going to have to put another piece over your gap. Okay, so we need some more botanical on this guy. Let's see what we've got. This is the actual cover here. So we're paying a little more attention, the front center cover of it. Paying a little more attention there. Making sure that it's pleasing to the eye, because it's going to be the front of your journal. Let's actually move this piece up a little bit. We're a little straight. Let's move it up there. That's good. And then we're going to go over here. I'm getting my piles all mixed up here. We've got this number stuff. Let's put some numbers. Like right there, we can do some numbers. I'll cut a piece of it. Oop, not quite enough. Need another piece. I'll hang it off maybe. Yep, we can hang it off this way. That'll work. Okay, so we're going to glue stick. Glue stick. We've still got art glitter there, and we're putting that guy right there. Beautiful. Love that. Okay, going along. It's hard because the thing covers up my pieces. It covers up my pieces. All right, so we need a little more botanical down here. Let's do we have anything different color? I've got green. There's a blue one. Let's do the blue. So let's get some botanical right down here in this corner maybe. Yep, in the corner. And it's already got glue, so I'm just going to do it. We'll cover up a little bit of it, but that's okay. There we go. You can see I left a little space here. We'll fill it in. And so you can look around and see, okay, well, we probably need handwriting because we've got music, we've got some ledger and number, we've got some book page, we've got some botanical, but we only have one piece of handwriting. So we need to do another piece of handwriting here. It doesn't really matter what kind of handwriting, but we do need some handwriting there. That piece fits really well right there, so we're going to use it. And you can see I'm just gluing and gluing and gluing. This guy really needs to be stuck down well. Make sure I get him to the edge. And now I've got a little border all the way around that piece there. And we're just going to fill in with something else. So back to this side. This side has some little pieces over here. We've got these. And these are perfect because you can just get that strip of handwriting and put it in there. So that would be good. Let's cut off a little bit of it. This is about the smallest piece I would advise you using, about a half an inch, preferably bigger than that. But if it's got to be, it's got to be, right? So we're going to go all the way over with this guy. I'm going to add that back to there. And then we're going to go right here. You notice I didn't ink any of my pieces or anything like that. You could certainly ink all of your pieces. You could use rough torn pieces. It doesn't have to be cut pieces. And then so far we've got this. We're looking for a piece right here. That's the only thing that is still, you know, sitting out there. And I know what I want there. I just don't know if I have it. I'm going to do that. Do I want the words or do I think I just want music. So I'm going to cut it to where I can just get music. So I've got this right there. That's perfect. So let's get that glued up. You can see I'm be much more careful than when we do our master boards. Our master boards are all just about getting a base layer down. And, you know, you worry about the decorating later, and it's just all about quickness and doing something, you know, that way, right? Well, now we're worrying about it a lot more because it's the journal cover. So now I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to cut off the overhang pieces just so that we can see what we've done and kind of where we're at with everything. To cut it, you just line your scissors up along the edge of your envelope and go slow and careful so that you don't cut open your envelope. If you end up cutting open your envelope, it's not the end of the world. You can glue it closed again, or happy accident, and you make it a pocket. So there, I've cut it off. And some of this, you know, you can save and you can use. It's fine. These are big enough pieces. And the rest is just going to go back in the trash. So there's that. And this is what our cover looks like so far. And so it's going to bend around and be a journal cover like this. And we're going to keep going and do the other side now. I will overlap some along this fold line as we go, because I don't really want them to be cutting off right there on that fold. So this time I'm going to go right over top of that, and I'm just going to glue basically there and down here. Still working in the quadrant theory, just a little bit different. Okay, and then I'm going to get my art glitter going down here and over here. You guys know I would rather over construct a cover than under construct it and have something fall apart. So that's the theory there. All right, so we've got handwriting here. We could use text, we could use music, any of that kind of stuff. I've got regular dictionary. I think we're going to go with this darker one over here. I think we're going to go with that right there. So I'm going to put that right. I want to go over a little bit. I want to go over a little bit. There we go. So we're going over, lining it up, getting it on there, smoothing it down. Okay. And then we need to do some numbers over here. We need some more handwriting, some more music, some more botanical, all the things over here. Now we're working on the back side of the cover. So we've got that or that. I think we're going to go with this. And I'm going to place this one maybe right there. I'll just line it up right there. We're going to need a little glue here and get that guy down. And it doesn't matter. You want your text, you want it all going different directions. Do not try to make everything so that you can read it. Put some sideways, put some upside down. It looks better when it is more chaotic than when it is everything same. Okay, so we need some handwriting. And I have this strip of ledger too. I think the strip of ledger needs to go right here. So I'm just going to glue right here and do it. And we'll worry about filling in later. That's beautiful. Love that. I got the ledger page number even. Perfect. Okay, so moving on. Let's get some more of this special handwriting down here. I really like the way that looks. Let's do that right there. So this is more the normal way other people collage when they're not building master boards. Is they do it piece. I keep getting a chunk of glue right there. They do it piece by piece, and I like to do it the faster way. Okay, so there's that. Now we've got here, and that still backs up to handwriting and music. So I think a nice piece of regular book page would look good there. We also have these ledgers. Because I've got ledger there, I definitely want book page. Let's see what kind of book page. We've got this guy. That's a nice big piece there. The only problem is I already have dictionary right here. So let's see what else I have. I have this math page. I want something that goes over this way. Hold on. I gotta find the right piece. And we just used that. So I think we are going to use this new ledger. And I think we're just going to make that ledger go right over the side like that. So all the way over, covering all these connecting bits. And I will go ahead and add a little, right on the spine, a little art glitter. I think I got it there. Okay. So we're going to slide that over and go right there. Perfect. I love it. Okay, moving on. We need to add some more glue down here. I don't have much glue. And so we're just going to glue the whole thing now. How are you guys doing? Those of you doing it. How are you guys doing? Those of you making your envelope cover right now, how is everybody doing out there? Are you guys still cutting pieces, hunting for papers? How are you guys doing? I'm going to just put this here. And we need to do a little glitter down here. And then we're going to put that right there. Lining it up to the edge and going over if we feel like we need to. Perfect. Okay. I think it is time for more botanical. I've got this one here. I'm going to do it down here. So we'll do some botanical. A little glitter going over, or glue going over that. And there we go. Perfect. I do want this math in here, but where can it fit? It might fit right there. I think we're going to do it. So I'm going to slice this off. I'm going to make sure everything is glued, which I think it is. And we're going to go right there. Perfect. Okay, so now we're getting to the end. We only have a couple spots left. So when you get to the end, you really need, there's a bunch of glue stick on there. When you get to the end, you really need to look at your cover and think, what's missing? What do I want to see? All of those kinds of things, because this is like your last chance for this cover, right? So I'm going to turn my cover the way that it goes so that my eye can see it better. And I'm going to give it a good look and say, okay, well, if this is the cover and this is the back, what does it need? I think it needs a little more botanical, maybe over in this mid section or up here in the top corner even. Let's go ahead and do it up in the top corner. And we'll not cover up our ledger page, but we'll get close to it. And so we have miscellaneous botanical pieces to play with. I'm just kind of looking for the perfect one. I think I like this blue one, but not so much that root thing that's hanging off there. So we're going to go right there with it. So now we've got some botanical up there. I like that. I think we could use some handwriting. We've got some handwriting here. We've got it here too, but I think we could use handwriting. I've got this bit of ledger. Let's do, maybe not that. I'm being a little bit picky because I know it is the end down here, right? This is my last chance to get my favorite pieces on here. So maybe we'll do this guy because the only other piece of him we have is right here. So we could even do it here. And that's kind of a good spot for him. Let's do him there. So I'm going to scoot it up so you guys can see, but we're going to put this piece right here. And I don't think he's going to cover the whole thing, but he'll cover a lot of it. And so do we want this side with the 1852 or this side with the beautiful handwriting? He's going to cover right there. That's perfect. I'm going to scooch him over just a little bit. That's perfect. And now we have a little sliver, a little space, and a little space. Perfect. I love this cover. And other than the botanical page, everything else was probably out of copyright and I could have scanned this. But you know, the botanical page. I do have more botanical, but I don't think we need that. And I don't think we need more numbers. Let's use this warm dictionary page. Well, we have dictionary right here, though. Maybe we use it there. That's a possibility. And again, I put these off to the side and now they're getting mixed in. No Florentine paper right this second. Okay. I think I want more of that ledger. And I want the prettiest piece I can find. That's a pretty darn good piece. So let's put that right there. It just has to have the right look to your eye, right? So you do yours the way that it looks pretty to you. I'm going to get that piece right there. Need to scoot it up just a little bit. And the good thing with using a glue stick is it does allow you that scoot time where you can slide it over. So now we only have these two right here. It's all we have left. And I could even look at mine in the camera and it kind of helps me, or in the monitor, and it kind of helps me tell what we need to put. We don't have any music down here. None. So we definitely need to get some music on that back cover. And that's the one thing I was short of in my pile. I didn't have a whole lot to play with in that regard. So we could do it here. Let's do it there. This piece is slightly cut crooked, so I'm going to straighten it out. There we go. And we're going to add glue one more time, making sure we've got it in there. And we'll add a little art glitter at the tip, at the bottom, at the tip. He's all gluey. He's about ready to get clogged on me. There he is. He's glued. And we got to pick which side of our music. And there we go. This is a beautiful cover. It might be my favorite collage cover ever. So I've got one piece right here. That's it. Okay, I'm going to keep him here. So what do we need? What are we lacking in this section over here? Not much, but where's that German dictionary that I cut up? Somewhere. I think there's more German dictionary. Maybe not. Right down here. This guy. So I think, oh, we have some dictionary right there. Dang it. We're at the point where it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to stick what I want to see there. Let's do that. We've got some cute little handwritten numbers. We're just going to stick them there. And again, it's a corner, so I'm going to go over it one more time. And over here. And these are my numbers. And we're just going to stick him. He barely fits there. I don't think he is going to fit there. I need a bigger piece. I need this piece. Yes, this one does fit. So we're going to stick it there. Perfect. He even barely fits. Cool. We did it. It's done. And then we can flip it over and cut the pieces. And that's just the front cover, the very front cover. And we are going to make a topper to put over it, which is why, if you think about when we make a masterboard, how we make the masterboard and we have the base layer down, and then we come in and we put a focal point over top of that base layer. That's kind of what we're doing with this journal cover, is we're putting the base layer down now, and the topper will be just like when you put the focal point on your collage masterboard tag that you cut up. So if you think about it that way, it probably helps you understand, the need for a topper and what the topper needs to look like. The topper is our focal point to this cover. So we're not going to add anything on this to further decorate it. We're just going to do some work. I mean, we're going to add some more things, but we're not going to add a focal point to it. You're not going to glue a focal point to this because we're going to have a topper with a focal point. Let me get these glues closed and take some pieces and clean up my desk. I've got all these little offcuts where I cut off the sides. And I've got some chunks of glue that I need to take care of before they stick to something I care about. Okay. So here's what we ended up looking like. And I'm just going to get my fingers first, and then I'm going to get that glue. It's going to be a beautiful journal, or several beautiful journals when we make three of them. It's going to be beautiful. I really, really love this journal cover. It came out exactly like I had it in my head, which is always a good thing, right? Um, you think about it for months and months, and then you finally make it, and it's like, okay, it came out perfectly. In the video for today, I am wearing band-aids on my fingers because I do have several small cut areas on my fingers, and I took them off for this video because I think they were very distracting in the other video. So anyway, when you see them, they're just small cuts on my fingers. Anyway, we're here. We got a little sliver here. We can see that there's some places that are going to need some glue. So that's the next thing that you do. So this is the cover. And the next thing that you do is you look for places that need glue. And so at that point, you're going to come in and you're going to add extra art glitter glue, because this has to be really stuck down. This is your cover and you can't afford any mistakes. Because if it's a cover and it starts peeling off, it's going to tear. And we're going to coat this with something, but we're not done working on it first. So just take your hand and kind of rub your hand, and it'll pick up the pieces that need extra glue, extra attention. That's really all you need to do. And you can see it's starting to ripple on me a little bit. That's okay. I mean, we're collaging. It's, you know, moisture on paper. It's going to ripple. Don't worry about it when it ripples. When we're done tonight, we're going to stick it under a book or something, under several books, whatever you want to do to flatten it out. Because we do want it flat. You don't want it ripply. But you're not going to be able to flatten it until, you know, we've got all of our collage work done on it. That's perfect. I love it. I love it so very much. So now we're going to work on the inside. So there's that. It's going to I don't want to bend it too much, but it's going to kind of look like this. And then we will have a topper. So I think it's gorgeous. We got everything right in the right place. And this is the back side. And so now we need to work on this side. You can worry about your pockets later, except for the window part. Like, you could just collage over this whole thing, and then you can decide if you want a pocket to slice something open. But we have these windows, and I need to decide if I care about them, or if I'm just not going to care about them, then I'm going to collage the whole thing. You can see I already got glue here. It doesn't matter. It rubs off. So, making sure I'm not gluing anything here. There we go. I think so it's going to be much sturdier because you're collaging on both sides of it. So I think I am going to make the pockets. So knowing that I'm going to collage around my window, or at least attempt to, it's going to be a little hard to collage around the window, but I think I'm going to attempt to, because I think they would be cute. I really wish. Yeah, I can't do it that way. It's okay. We're going to do it this way. Let's just start collaging. We got to get it done. Okay, so here we go. We're collaging this side. Same thing all over again, just less stress because it's on the inside. And so I'm going to make a pocket at the top here, but I don't think I'm going to make a pocket down here. Not from the envelope. So the envelope itself, I'm going to use this window right here and put a tag in there, or a journal card, whatever. But down here, I think I'm just going to glue a pocket on, because I don't like this little half window here. I don't think that would look good as a pocket. So I'm going to not have a pocket here, but I am going to have a pocket here. Okay. So you're going to see me collage over this envelope. Now for the back part of it, it's still going to be folded in half here. You could have that be something and then collage up here. Maybe. We're just going to collage and we're going to figure it out. Okay, so starting to collage around this window is not going to be my most favorite activity in the whole world, but we're gonna give it a try. If you get glue on that little window and you're using Uhu, it's still going to be fine. You're going to wait for it to dry a little bit and then rub it off with your just with your finger. So you want to make sure you get a very generous amount of glue. And I'm going to glue up this whole bottom section because we know we can. I won't go all the way down to the edge, but at least I've given myself a place to work here. And so as I put the pieces around this, I will put the art glitter. I mean, I guess I can put some here in the corner, but I don't want it to dry too much since we have to cut around the window and stuff. So we've got it there. Okay. So from there, let's get some pieces going. And we have plenty of bits to play with, so that should be good. And then you're just going to overhang it off the edge. So you're going to line it up here and overhang it that way. Whatever piece it is, it's just going to overhang. I have this little piece right here. Let's get it right here. And I'm just going right up to the edge of the window and pressing it down on the corner there. Okay. And then from there, we can do some book page. Some nice German book page. And we're going to add a little glue. You can see I need to scoot that up just a little bit. It is sliding. And then I'm going to add a little glue right here and add this. And it is a curved, I need to make a little cut. It is a curved little window envelope. And I need to make a little cut to go around that. I don't think I'm getting it accurate, but we'll try. I can't do it. Okay, well, we're just going to do it anyway. There we go. It's no longer curved. Perfect. Okay, moving on. For right there, I need to find some music paper and cut it. I don't know if we have any over here, but let's see. That might work. Let's cut that. So it's a scrap of music. And I cut off all the excess white off of anything I'm using. And we're going to go right there with that. Oh, my glue's almost done. Don't slide. There we go. Okay. I'm going to flip this over. Less sticky. And I'm just going to toss this. This is what happens when you get to the bottom. And yes, there's still glue in here. And yes, you could dig it out and use it. But honestly, it's probably not worth the frustration. I'm pretty frugal, but there is a limit to, if it makes your life miserable, don't do it. So there we go. And you can see this is a different color because it's a new one. Okay. So working our way around, I'm going to leave this right here for when we do this whole section. And I'm going to start working down here now. And we have handwriting, so we probably need some ledger. Ledger or numbers. Well, that's handwriting too, so let's maybe go with this number. The numbers would work. Let's do numbers there. And so we'll get some nice glue there, and we'll go right up to the window. Right there. Perfect. Water. I definitely will, but I drink a vitamin water, which isn't really a vitamin water. It's a liquid IV. But in my brain, it's always called a vitamin water, and I don't know why. It just is. My brain can't do anything else. It just calls it vitamin water. So I think I'm going to do this piece right here. It's really beautiful. So I think we have glue there, but I'm going to go over it just to make sure. I know there is. I can see it. So I'm going to get this guy up and over this edge. Right there. Perfect. And then we need to keep working our way around this envelope. Right there. And we can do ledger here, a nice big chunk of ledger. We want that messiness. Maybe this one here. There's quite a bit of white here. I think we're going to save that piece for somewhere else. We could do the crazy handwriting. Let's do the crazy handwriting. That looks good. We've got glue there. We maybe need to go down a little bit more. I don't want to cover up my purple flowers, but that's good. We did it, and we need to slide up just a little bit. I'm crafting a good 14 inches away from where I need to because I got to be in camera. But there we go. There's that. And then let's work this way a little bit more. And we'll kind of, I don't care about this bottom envelope, so it's going to get glue right over it. Okay. From here, I've got this lovely German dictionary. Oh, I don't want to flick it on the floor. German dictionary, let's do that right there. I need to get it right up to the window again and keep it straight with the other ones. Perfect. Okay, and now we're going to leave that top section and that top window alone, and we're going to work down in here. And again, this window isn't staying, so I'm going to glue every little bit of this section. And we're going to go ahead and glue over all those joints where they're going to attach or, connect, because we know we're going to overlap. Okay, when you're collaging a cover, don't be like stingy with your glue. I've said this several times now. It's so important that you just, there's other places that you can save glue. And this is not one of those places. I would recommend it. And so we're going to come right up here with this guy. Another piece of a ledger. And then from there, music would be great. And I still didn't find another big chunk of music. I need to go in my pile here and get some more music. There's some, but it's very like white and new looking. There's some that's more vintage looking. It's a little busy though. It's like a hymnal and it's a little too busy for me. Do I have other music pages? Yes, I do. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Perhaps that one. Perhaps this one. Either of these would be good. It's farther apart and I think it's less busy looking, so this is the one I'm going to cut, and I'm just going to cut it all up. We'll use it later. I hope you guys are crafting along. We're going to have one beautiful cover by the time we're done. Okay, let's cut it here. Cut it here. And then from here we can stack and cut. And let's leave some big. Okay, so let's see if I can get some music down here. I might have cut those ones too small. Let's try this one. Yep, that'll work. Okay. Going over the edge, going over the edge. We'll add our glitter. And then we're good. And there's that guy. I think he's going to fit. Just barely. Got lots of extra glue on that one. Okay, there's that. And you can see I've got a little bit showing right there. I'm just going to ink that. That's okay. And we're moving on. We have this section and I need more botanical, and I also need more like really tanned paper. So let's go ahead and do this right here. And we'll do the art glitter, and we'll get this guy here. And I'm just going to place him where the text ends. There he goes. And then botanical. You guys are so quiet tonight. I don't hear much chit chat. Probably because I can't hear you, but oh, there is botanical right there though. So now we're going to have to move our botanical up here. Yep, up there and down there. So let's just go ahead and do it since I know I want it there. And we'll put it there. Hopefully that's enough glue. If not, I'll come back and glue. But there we go. I love it. Perfect. Cute. It's almost bedtime. You gave up after the front. You need more pieces of paper. Yeah, you do have to have a good selection, which is why I spent so much time before we started making sure that, you know, I had everything pulled and cut and ready, because I knew once I started, you know, you're going to need a selection. So anyway, we need something else down here. We've got book page, we've got handwriting, there's music over here. I need something different. So I got to look in my pile and find something different. And if you see this pile up here, it just keeps scooting and scooting and scooting and scooting. It's just all over the place. We haven't used any of this yet, and I don't think we're going to, truthfully. This is what we need. We could use that there. Same though. Maybe we put this one. Nope, we just used that. Let's put this. We're just going to do it. We're going to do it right there. Perfect. I love it. It's a lot of botanical there, but I don't care. We're all good. And now we're going to move up here and do this section. So I know we're going to end up going over that. Got a big chunk of glue that I needed to smear out. And then we're going to go here. I'm taking much more time with this than I would a collage masterboard. And so I'm going to glue that section there, adding some art glitter. Just to the edge to hold down that edge a little bit more. Okay, that's good, looking good. And then after that, let's start all over again. So we need some book page, we need some handwriting, we need some ledger. We could take this piece of ledger. I just don't want that much of it because it would cover up too much. I do want it here. So I'm just going to place it and overhang it. And we'll cut off whatever overhangs and save it. So there's that. And then it would be nice to have music down in this area. So I'm going to overhang right here and go right there. And then from here, a nice big piece of like this kind of handwriting. Let's see what I have left of that, or this one even. This one needs to go down here. I'm just going to set it there for a minute. You guys can't even see me anymore. This guy needs to go down here in this area, and I'm just going to set him there to kind of remind myself that he needs to go there. And then I'm looking for a nice piece of this handwriting. One of these two to go here or here. I'm going to do it there. And we're just going over the edges, making sure we've got lots of glue. And there we go. And that left us some nice spaces to fill in. And those little areas where you fill in is sometimes the nicest part because it's a surprise, right? It wasn't planned. And so there's that. When you take a look and see, we don't really have much text in this area, so it's a good place to just add some text. I could add this. We have it down here, but you really wouldn't see that part on the back. So I'm going to use this piece, but I don't want this little extra bit that's off to the edge here. So I'm just going to trim that carefully. We're going to place that right there. So when we're all done with this, we're going to do another layer, something a little fun. So there's that one. And we got our corner nice and glued. And then right through here, let's do that other fancy ledger that we have. This is the ledger I want, but this is a really big piece. And I don't want to cover up that much. So let's see if I can find a smaller piece. Here's a small piece. This side is better. It's handwriting and handwriting though, and it doesn't really look like much ledger. I need this pile. You need this pile. I think it would be nice to have like some kind of a bowl or something where you could sort through your pieces, you know, in your bowl and kind of put them together like a puzzle. The numbers are good. Let's go ahead and do numbers right here. It is like a jigsaw puzzle in reality. Okay, so there's numbers. I'm going to go ahead and glue up this next section because we're really getting down there to it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it. And again, I want to glue over this window here. Making sure I have extra glue and then art glitter around the corner. And this video will stay up on the channel for anyone who, you know, needs to go to bed or whatever. I know there's different time zones and, you know, people got stuff going on, whatever. It's Friday night. So this video will stay up on the channel for forever. If you guys look under the live section, you will find all the live videos where I've done different, you know, I've done start to finish journals in the live section for years now. So if you look at the live section, they're there. Now I did delete a bunch of videos because they were older and whatever, but I did delete some. So we just need to figure out where I'm going to put this. I think we're going to go this guy here. And let's do him right here. And then I can do this number one over here. Well, looks good right there. So fill in your jigsaw puzzle. You have this spot, that spot, and right through here. I don't have much text going on. Like I've got this, but I don't have much text. We're going to need another nice piece of antique handwriting down here. Maybe we do that right there. I like it right there. That's beautiful. Okay. Then we need some ledger. There's not a whole lot there. And we're going to need a piece of music in this corner. So there's our music in the corner. Just little bits now. I don't want anything too brown because I have lots of brown. I really did want to put this in here. I think he needs to go up here. So we're going to do that. It leaves a space here, but I'm not really sure what I want to do with that space yet. So we're just going to go right there. I don't know if I got glue all the way over there enough. Okay, so there's that space and this space. Okay. We don't have hardly any botanical through here, so I think we need to kind of pick out the best piece because we're really down to the last little bits now. So we need to pick out the best piece of botanical paper. This pretty flower is really nice. This piece is really nice. I don't really care so much for that one. That's kind of whatever. And we've got the rest of these over here. Again, that's just bits and pieces. This one is kind of pretty. That's bits and pieces. Those are all bits and pieces. There's that, but I don't know about that one. They're all underneath my mat now. I have found several pretties for us to choose from. And I think I have all of them, right? Yes, I do. Okay. So I've got glue right there. These are our options. We need to put one down here somewhere, probably over here, because we've got that right there. So probably right there. We've got this guy, which is cute. This is just kind of a pretty grass. I don't think we need him. There's this one, or this one. I don't like that one because of the leaf. One of these two. This guy? Okay. You guys spoke. This guy. Or this guy. Are you guys speaking to me? You're probably telling me get on with it. We put him right there. All right. So we've got odd little spaces to fill in. Not a problem. I would really like that German dictionary again. Let's fill in that right there. He's an odd little space. Let's put him right there. Don't you wish puzzles were this way, where you could just cut your own pieces and put the puzzle together the way that you want it together? I do. Puzzles are fun, but I have to be really, really bored to sit down and do a puzzle. And that sounds terrible, but I don't know. We're going to come in here and do this. We'll have too many little pieces down here, though. See how they're getting really small, and I want to avoid that. So let me struggle and find something to fill these guys in, and then we're going to call our cover done, except for me cutting pockets and doing other steps. So almost done. I need something else. It has to be a different look right there. Something else. What about this? Is that different enough? Digging all through my pile of goodies over here. I've got several pieces of that to choose from, or that French little handwriting book. I like that too. So let's pull a piece of that. Here are several pieces of that guy for us to look at. So that's not bad. Again, it's just a little busy, whatever. But this guy, I think it's this guy. We just need to find the right piece. I think it's this guy. Let's cut him straight and then let's use him. I don't know if there's like coyotes outside or wolves or people, but somebody is howling a lot. Who knows? I'm going to put this gigantic piece here. I think there's actually coyotes. All the dogs are freaking out. They're sirens. That's what it is. So when there's sirens, the dogs in the neighborhood freak out and get really loud. And I could not figure out what was screaming out there. Okay, one last piece, guys. One last piece. And I need to do a little bit of sanding right there. Okay, one last piece right there. I think we're going to do that same book. It needs it. Let's do it. Plus, I'm over it now. Okay, I'm cutting this one to size and we're good. We're doing it. Hopefully it fits, and it does. Perfect. We did it. It's done. Okay. I left one envelope open and I need to do a little paper trimming there. Let's cut off the excess. Now you could wrap pieces around, and I thought about doing it that way where we would wrap. In the end, I opted to not do it. But I think wrapping would have been a good idea if you were up for it. I was not up for it. So I'm just making sure I'm not cutting my envelope as I go around. But front and back are collaged and they're beautiful. I love them. Now, I think it would be a good idea to sew around your cover if you weren't going to have any envelope pockets. Just to, again, go around and tack down those papers. So if you are a person who likes to sew around things or sew around your covers for junk journals, I think sewing around this would be great as long as you could do it with your pockets, whatever pockets you chose. If I ended up not putting any pockets in mine, I would have sewn around the whole thing. Still, I will probably try to sew around it just because I think it will be helpful. So let me clean up this mess of little bits and gluey paper. If I can use it in a cluster, it stays. And usually when I cut off a masterboard, I end up with all these interesting little pieces. So I have all of this to throw in the trash, and then we're moving on to the next step. So we're almost there, guys. Almost there with our cover. I have all of this left to continue to collage as I work in this journal or any other journal. One good thing about keeping everything, like just look at all these little pieces together. They're begging to be a little cluster on a page. They're just perfect. So anyway, as you work in your journal, you are going to have tags and things that are going to need collaged, or maybe you want to tear one of these little pieces up for a label or something. But I like to keep all my extra little pieces together in one little place as I work in the journal, because sometimes you just need a little something to decorate, like a little piece of washi, but you can use paper instead. We don't have to use washi. Just a little, a little piece coming down on a page or a little piece on a pocket. So if you look, even this little pile is yummy. It's yummy. And that's kind of where we're going with our journal, all of that. So I'm going to set that to the side now. I'm done loving on it. Getting rid of my gluey paper, my crinkly gluey paper. And I'm going to look at my cover. And we're going to do the last little step. My piano roll paper keeps rolling around on me. Okay, for this, you can see that I've got, a little bit of cleaning up to do around this envelope edge. And I have opted to do the easiest thing, and that is just, I've got a baby wipe handy, and I'm just going to go ahead and just blend right on the envelope and just go around. and kind of ink. And wherever it chooses to ink, it chooses to ink. If it chooses to ink a lot, that's all good with me. And you can see right here, I've got a piece of paper coming up. That's where we need to glue. We didn't add art glitter around the window, little window thing, and we probably should have. And then all up through here, it wants to come up. So I'm just going to go in with art glitter up there. And right there, it's a little grungier of a journal, so I'm good with that. It almost makes that window look coffee dyed. Now you could wipe it off with a baby wipe, which is what I was intending to do originally anyway. But I kind of like this overly emphasized pocket edge. So I'm going to just continue to ink. It's coming up right there. And that needs to dry just a little bit before I ink on it. But kind of an overly emphasized little window here. Like it's been really used. I like that. There we go. And so if it's too much for you, you've got a damp baby wipe and you can kind of wipe it back a little bit. Not too much because you know it's a water reactive ink. So be careful with that part of it, but you could wipe it off just a little bit. Like maybe I don't want it so much on my botanical over here. I've wiped it off. And maybe right here, I can kind of knock that back a little bit. And that's really cute. Now maybe you want to take some off the window envelope itself, the little plastic part. You can just dab it. But we're really looking vintage there. I can see I've got some glue here, so I'm going to wipe that off because I don't really want the chunks of glue on it. And I'm going to give that a minute and I will come back in and ink it one more time. Let it dry for a second. All of this where there was glue stick, I don't really want that. So I'm cleaning that up, which I should have done before I inked, I guess. Who knew that there was glue stick on there? So clean up that glue stick bit. I don't want chunky bits. So there's that. And then you could come back in and go over it one more time. So it's actually going to be up there in the top, and this is our cover, and it's going to fold. So next steps. If you don't want to do the next step with me, that's fine. But the next step that I'm thinking of doing is taking that onion skin and putting little pieces. So we have a lot of handwriting in here, and we might not need to do this step. In my brain, we were going to take this this onion skin paper, but I think we might have enough handwriting. Let me look and see if I really want to do this. Do I want to add onion skin over it, or do I want to call it good as it is? We won't know until I tear it. Remember those little bits of onion skin that I said I was saving for a project? This is the project I was saving them for, but if you ask me where they are, I do not know where they are. So if you want to do the next step, you're going to take your onion skin, the vintage French, or it's actually antique French onion skin, and you're going to tear out little pieces of handwriting, and you're going to come in with your glue stick, and you're going to glue them randomly over what you have already done. It's like the final embellishment on this cover. I think it would be cute. There's no harm in doing it on a couple and seeing if we like it. The only thing is like, as I'm testing it out, I mean, there's quite a bit of handwriting already. So that's really the only thing that I was concerned about. Is you're going to have to really, be careful where you place it because there's already quite a bit of handwriting. I am actually very clean as I go as well because I cannot stand a messy desk. So we could put a piece here. Let's just plan this out for a minute. Put a piece there. I think the only thing we can do is really go over top of that. You can see I've got a corner coming up. I'm undecided on the onion skin. What do you guys think? The other thing is if we put the onion skin on, we have to spray or coat it with collage medium. If we don't put the onion skin on, it's still a good idea to coat it with collage medium or a spray sealant. But if you put the onion skin, you really do have to seal it. So there's that too. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I can't decide. Maybe we'll just do like little bits of it. Let's look at the front. Does the front need it? I actually like what we did on the back more than the front. I don't know why or how, but I do. Are we going to need pieces of this on here? A couple pieces? Yes or no? You say no, it's perfect. I think it's nice as is. It's beautiful. It's pretty. I'm going to look in the camera and see if I like it better with or without. I don't think we need it, but I'm going to hold final reservation on that for a minute. If we're done with it, we're going to ink around it. We're going to let it dry first, but you're going to ink around it all the way around. And then if you're not making any pockets, like, you know, I need to cut this right here to make a pocket. If you're not making any pockets, you can go ahead and sew around it. I would love to sew around this, in all honesty. I would really love to sew around this. I can feel something right there. It's so small, I don't know that we'll get it glued, but anyway, we've got our cover done, basically. I think I am going to stick some onion skin just because I just kind of want to at this point. Yes and no. All right, so I'm going to leave this one. Although you might see one of the other ones with onion skin because I think it's fun, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to leave it for now. Let's move on and ink around it, and I'll cut my pocket and all that kind of stuff. So we have decided that we're going to have a pocket up here at the top. I don't know if it's dry enough for me to fold yet. I don't want it to crack, but we're going to fold it like this. And it's going to fold basically right there. And then I'm going to glue in a pocket. And then down here, it's just going to have a regular pocket that's going to cover this. I found a big old piece. And you're going to keep finding them. And that's just the joy of collage. The only other way to do it is to make it so stinking wet that it's really hard to pick up and use in the same crafting video. I mean, you could use like a matte medium or collage medium and do the whole thing. And, you know, it's a good glue. It's just a little harder to work with, I think, because you can't really just move on. You got to let it dry. All right, here we go. We're cutting. And I don't really need this side open, but I do need this side open. And I could measure it and mark it so that it is exactly half when I do my pocket. Let's see, how are we going to do this? I need you guys to stay over there. I think this thing, yeah, this thing has measurements on it. But what exactly does it start at? It starts at 1 down here. Okay, so this guy is, he's 10, and we're going to mark this at 5. So I'm going to mark it right on the edge, right at 5. With a pen or pencil or something, because we're going to slice this edge off. And so right here, right there is where I'm going to make my pocket. Actually, I'm going to use this to slice it. I was just going to cut it with scissors. I better cut it with scissors. This trimmer, I mean, trimming it would be a perfectly straight edge. But this, I will answer that question here in a minute. Using a trimmer for this, that Tim Holtz trimmer, I don't think I could trust it with it. So I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to make a little sliver. And if I need more of a sliver, then I will do that too. Let's see. I think I would have preferred to trim it, but that trimmer is not going to slice through everything. So now I've opened it. It was sealed. Now it's open. And that's where I'm getting my pocket at. And so this is my front cover of my journal. I have a big pocket here, but I don't want a big pocket here. I only want a pocket that goes halfway. So the only way to do that is from the inside, add a bead of glue through here. And I just keep finding little bits. And I thought I did such a good job gluing. Okay, Kate, will Mod Podge work for medium? You don't want to use Mod Podge because Mod Podge will always stay tacky. Even when it is dried for days and days and days or months or years, it still has a tacky, sticky feel to it, and paper will stick to it and tear and be disgusting. It basically stays sticky. So Mod Podge, while it has many purposes in the craft world, it's not great for paper covers and paper things, especially in a journal where there's going to be paper against it, because it stays sticky. The Tim Holtz Collage Medium does not stay sticky, and it dries matte, and that is my favorite thing for sealing things. And you could have used that to collage this whole entire thing, and that would have been lovely. The only problem is it does take drying time, so I would not have been able to just move on and do more in a video, you know. So Collage Medium from Tim Holtz. It's Ranger Collage Medium. I think that's what he calls it. It is wonderful. Other than that, people have told me that they use like matte medium from Liquitex or something like that. I don't use that, so I don't have a lot of experience with it. But any type of sealant, any type of clear glue that dries non-sticky would have worked. So anyway, I've cut my big pocket here. I'm gonna make the channel that goes in the middle. Opening that up really does help with drying too. Like you can even see the collage little window in there. Opening it up does help with drying. Awesome. We're going to make a channel. I'm just trying to decide, do I want two or do I want one? Is it going to look weird if I only have one with a tag sticking out at the top? Because we're going to need to put thumb hole notches wherever we put a pocket, and we're going to need to put that glue channel. So I see pieces sticking up everywhere. Oh my gosh. And you guys know I really was thorough with my glue. I really was. When you put whatever sealant over it, all of that will hold all of this down, and then it will be a nice surface. And I will probably do that here in a little bit. But let's go ahead and get this pocket in here. I'm going to put the bead of glue, and I'm going to thumb hole notch. If this is my cover, I think we're just going to do one. I know it's weird seeming, but we're going to do one in the back, I think. So let's do that. Okay. I keep going back and forth in my mind because it's just, there's so many options. So very many options. And I need to get this about halfway. So here's my halfway mark. And here is about half for my thumb hole. And there we go. So we've got that done. And then before I glue my pocket together, I want to make sure that all my thumb holes are in and everything is inked. I think I am going to leave it against my better judgment. I've gone back and forth a bunch of times. I have the little corner right there. Just the littlest corner right there. I'm inking. Let me go hold it this way to ink. And be careful with your inking because, you know, it's your cover. This guy is loose right here. Here we go. Give that a minute. We're going to ink inside back here as you're going to see it. Okay, that looks good. We probably don't need, well, we do in a minute. Okay, So we're going to ink this guy back here. Now you could add a decorative paper, and maybe we need to think about that, because when you take your tag out of here, do you just want to see this white, or should we put something pretty back there? Because we have the opportunity to stick something in here. Can I ink in there? Can I do anything in there? Not really creatively. I could stick a piece of paper in there, like, you know, some pretty music or something. Just going to go ahead and ink the whole thing, even though we don't need the whole thing. So it looks like that now. I really would like to stick something in there. Like a little peekaboo, you know, when they pull the tag out, there isn't just this white space back here. I think I do want to stick something. What should we stick in there? Like, you know, I'm not saying it will be this, but isn't seeing something back there to complete the collage better than just seeing white? I think so. What can we add back there? It needs to not interfere with what is going to slide in and out of the pocket. And then maybe put something there so you can see it. Are you guys talking to me? I think I'm going to attempt to ink it, which is very, very difficult, but I think I am going to put a little ink in there. And if I mess that up and am not happy, then I can put paper in it. The inking is okay. It's all right. You have plenty of room to get in and work. It's just a matter of comfortableness. It's better than nothing. Just a little bit more in that corner, and then I'm happy. The corners are the tough bit anyway. Okay. It's better than nothing. At least it's not white. At least it's a little grungy. And it won't interfere with sliding anything in and out. I would love to put a paper in there, but you might catch it sliding your tag in and out. So anyway, we're moving on to sealing this down now after 5 hours of work. I've got my center line marked. That's where I'm going to run my bead of glue. It doesn't really matter how far I run it over here, because we're going to have a fold in here. That's going to be the stopping point. We really just need a bead of glue here to keep your tag that's here from falling down. So we're just going to add that bead of glue. And you know, it's not exact. It doesn't really matter. Again, it's just to keep that journal card, from falling all the way through. And I've got a nice bead of glue now that is good and sealed. And we're good to go there. I have a pocket, and it's a pocket that, you know, you can't see, whatever. Like if you were sewing, you could surely sew there. But the problem is you're sewing on the front of your cover. So it's a pocket that we've constructed where you can't even really see how the pocket was really made. It's just there. It's just, I don't really like this little intersection right here, but I have to keep in mind that I am going to have a pocket glued here with tags and stuff in it. So that's that. Our pocket's done. Now we have the back portion to worry about for more pockets. Eating chili. Awesome, guys. Onion skin. So people are asking about onion skin paper. Onion skin paper is literally a very, very thin, almost like tissue paper, but not tissue paper. It's stronger and more durable. And these pages here, Um, these ones that I have, they come out of an onion skin book. And what they actually are is copies of French letters. So French businesses would keep a copy of the letters that they would send their clients. And normally it's like a statement of account, like, hey, you owe us this money. It's like a bill. And so they wrote the original letter on a piece of paper, And then they would take that letter and they would put it, they would take the letter that they wrote with the ink on it, they would put it in this book, and they would press it. And normally the ink would just impart itself into this paper because the ink was wet from a dip pen. This paper is a little special, like you can hear it's crinkly, but whenever you glue something down on, do I have a book page here? Hang on. Whenever you glue something down onto this paper disappears. When you get this paper wet, it disappears, and all you're really left with is the handwriting. So if I pull out one piece of tissue, and I put this back behind it and get this a little bit wet with glue, the tissue paper part disappears and you can really see the image that's underneath of it. I mean, even without the glue, in person, you can really see that image underneath of it. So it kind of disappears and you're left with the handwriting. It basically looks like you took a stamp and stamped that French handwriting over this, but it's a very unique look, right? So these came in books of sheets. They had, usually 300 to 500 sheets per book. And these are just miscellaneous ones that I have, but I have sold many packs of that in the live sales. I just didn't have any out and prepared for this last one. So we're going to work on back pockets. Let me scroll down. Homemade enchiladas and you didn't invite me, Mrs. E. Okay, so I think we want to do the same thing and do a pocket here. That way we have a tag sticking out here and a tag sticking out here. The only other thing I could do is clip this top and do a top pocket. And that would be really nice to have a big old tag in there. But I mean, I could still do a glued on pocket here and slide a tag in this way to get those two tabs. And then we could do a top pocket up here with a thumb hole notch. That top pocket would hold a very large journal card. Like this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper folded in half, and it would still have lots of room in this pocket. If we do a gigantic pocket, it may be too big. Maybe people would like a giant pocket though. Maybe you could slip in, make it a notepad and slip in the notepad from the top. I think I do want to do it. It's just too fun. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Yes, we are. So I'm going to snip off the top of this and I'm going to make a thumb hole notch right here. So nobody cry. That's what's happening. And I'm trying to cut as straight as I can. And we're just going to live with what we get. Oops, missed that little bit. Cool. We did it. And now we need to glue this section halfway because this is this pocket. Almost open. We need to cut a little more on this side. A little bit more. But we're going to glue that side over there for that pocket, and we're going to thumb hole notch this pocket. I can't tell if it's open or not open. Right there. Okay, it's open. So let's go ahead and glue this side about halfway. I think we can probably score this and fold this now. Let's try it. Let's try it. So if this is 13 inches, I need to do a 6.5 precisely. 6.5 is technically where? Here? Here? Because, it's 6 here and it's 7 here. And so you kind of just have to guess there, don't you, Tim? Well, I think, is this one 13? It's 12. I think we're just going to have to guess. I don't really like guessing because we're folding this. I don't see a marking for 6.5 at all, so I guess we're just going to do it. And if it's not the right line, it's not the right line. I don't know. It doesn't want to score either. It's very, very thick. It's kind of all over the place. Let's see. It kind of scored it. I'm going to have to do it the old way. I could always glue something behind the window, but I just opted to not because I was worried that it would catch on whatever journal card I was going to put there. And this is why I really should have scored this before I glued everything on there, because adding that glue and all those layers makes it a little bit hard to fold. And you can also see why I didn't want the ends of the paper that we were collaging at the spine. And so you're just going to have to roll it and work it with your hand, making sure that you're pressing over here to keep these two sides together because it's very thick now. And we are going to put something down the spine, so I don't really care about these little pieces, but I'm saying if you're not putting something down the spine, see how this one is right on the edge and he's already coming up just from being bent like that. But we're good. We did it. We did it the hard way without scoring. And you're just going to have to be gentle with this part and kind of give it a squish. When you squish it, you want to make sure that it is still staying straight. So just kind of gently, because you don't want to rip up your paper, just kind of gently go over it. And that one is coming off, but that's okay. We're good. So there's that. It's just wanting to roll a little bit where I don't want it to roll. And so I just, nope, every time. You got to score. You got to score. Okay, we're good there. So back to the top. Now I know exactly how far over to glue, and that little window's right on the edge too. Let's glue that top, and before we do that, let's thumb hole notch this guy. So at least we know this is the stopping point, so I can center my thumb hole notch. At least we know that now. So I'm gonna center it as best as I can with my eyeballs. And we're gonna punch that. I think we need to come up with a project for these. Like, don't they look like they could be made like little flower petals after you collect a bunch of them? I was looking at these the other day, and sometimes you get really cute little, you know, after you've collaged cute little bits. I need to drink water again. But we need a project for these. We need to be able to make something out of these because these are really cute sometimes. I know you guys probably are thinking I'm crazy, but anyway. I throw a lot of those away and they look nice is all the whole point of that. So you got to ink around the whole entire thing and then glue it. I think this is going to be fun because I think I'm going to put a notepad back here. Like her little field notepad where she's keeping her notes. I don't know. There's like a hole in that paper. And then you're going to ink back here too, just in case, because we've cut it and you never know. Obviously, we're going to ink on this side, but that side you probably didn't have to, but it's cut and maybe the white paper would show when you glued it. So, and then we're going to ink in there, just down a little bit so that it's not just white when they pull things in and out of there. Pretty good. Pretty good. Got little bits on it because this guy needs changed, but pretty good. I think I'm all happy with that. Let's glue and be done with our thingies. You make a 5-point star out of the corner cutoffs from a tag. That's a good idea for those, but I need one for the punched little hole thumb holes. I can't do two things at once today. It's beyond me. So I don't need to go all the way to the center again because we are going to have the signature sewn in here. So I don't need to go all the way. The center signature is going to hold it. I just got close enough and we're going to leave it at that. So there's that part of it. And now we have a pocket here and a pocket here. And this pocket can have a gigantic, I mean, even bigger than this, a gigantic notepad where you slide the back of the notepad. So you have all your papers up on here. You slide the back of the notepad in here, and all of your papers are all down here where you can flip through them. So I think that's what the goal is for that. Sorry it took me so long to come to my conclusion of what I was doing there, but there's too many options. I bet she does. She is really good at using up every little bit that other people would probably throw away, you know? So we're going to ink the whole thing. I'm going to get this stuff out of my way. And then we can talk about next steps. So we're going to ink the whole entire thing. If you're going to seal it, you obviously want to seal it before you ink it, but I don't know what I'm doing yet, so I'm just inking. The goal is to make this journal look like, you know, she had it in the field. So it is a little bit more grungy than my normal, you know, frilly girly whatever. And so remember that your corners should not be inked just a straight line. The corners should always come in a little bit, because a normal inked corner, a normal old corner, the corner would have the most wear. So I do try to bring, when I do ink, I try to bring that ink in on the corners, because that's the way it normally would be. Like, it wouldn't be just the straight line of inking. So I think that makes it look more old. And so just kind of come in a circular motion from the edge and work towards the corner. It just kind of frames it and brings the eye in too. And so you could ink down here if you wanted. I'm going to hold off on that just to see, once I get my signature, if I want to ink down here in the center. I think that that would look nice underneath your signature to have it be inked, to finish off this inked all the way around kind of look that we're doing. So I'm going to go through and just do a little bit more. I don't have my sheet of protective thing under there, but we're just going to bring that ink in just a little bit more. And I really do want it inked right here, but I will wait till I get my signature. Okay, so I've got a little bit coming up there, and we're going to ink the other side. And then our cover is done-ish until we do a topper. The topper is going to be made with elastic. So if you do not have elastic cord, you're going to want elastic cord. I got mine on Amazon. If you want me to link it in the Facebook group, I will link it in the Facebook group. I'll just clean my mat at this point. It's already dirty. But I can link the cord from Amazon. You can use white or black or any other color that you want. I have both a big spool of white and the big spool of black because, you know, I make a lot of toppers and things like that, but it's not really that expensive on Amazon. And I think it's well worth it, because you can make a lot of toppers, and you can make closures, and you can make the Midori style. Is it Midori? I think it's Midori. Traveler's notebook kind of style things, where you have elastic bindings where you can take the pages in and out all the time. Like, you write on a page and you can pull it out and you can replace it with elastic, you know, they're not sewn in. That kind of a look. Now, you could have made any of these pockets that I made double pockets by adding another pocket inside of there. Like, this big pocket could have even had another double pocket in there. And anywhere that I didn't get quite close enough to the edge, I can see that little green poke through, and I'm okay with it. I think it looks great. So this is our front cover, and we may ink down there too, but I know I'm putting something there, so I'm not going to stress about that. But I did bring in my corners just a little bit. I didn't do so much here because I don't want to cover up those purple flowers, but I did ink them up just a little bit more, because that's the way that a normal book would be. it would be definitely more worn in the corners and on the edges. And so I've got it all the way done. All the sides are done. Everything is inked nicely. Everything's collaged nicely. And we're good to go. Good, good. I've got crumbs. I've got ink everywhere. We're good. We did it. Cover done. Topper to come. The topper for the blue journals, that video is going to be on Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to try to do it Monday, but it might be Tuesday. But I promise you it'll be Monday or Tuesday for the topper for the blue journal. And that topper is different than this topper. It's two different kinds of toppers. Maybe I'll do the topper for this in a 365 like I was saying I would, so we don't have to eat up another week's worth of Friday for it. You guys will see it either way, so it probably doesn't really matter. Maybe I'll just do back-to-back topper videos. Who knows what I will do in the 365 videos? I don't know until I sit down and just play with paper. Most of the time. Sometimes I have a direct idea, but most of the time I don't. So this is where we ended up with our topper, right? Or our journal cover. This is where we ended up. It looks pretty simple right now, but when you put the topper on, which, do I have anything to kind of show you? Do I have any type of focal pointy thing to show you? Like, you know, the topper's going to go on the top. It's not going to look like this, obviously, but it's going to be about this size, and it's going to have elastic, and it's going to be the closure and the topper all in one. I'm pretty sure you can envision how I'm going to make it, and I'm going to do it like that. So you guys will see it, but you are going to want elastic. I'm just going to glue it. You are going to want elastic cord, if that's what you want to do. You don't have to make that piece. You don't have to have a topper plus closure. But I think because of the pocket situation, I did that kind of journal closure topper because of the pocket situation. There wasn't really a good way of doing the pockets that I thought I wanted to do in this big envelope with putting in our standard eyelets here, because if we, I mean, it wouldn't really matter on this one, but if we had decided to do a side pocket, I wouldn't have been able to put eyelets in and then put a closure the normal way. So I wanted a closure that didn't impact any of this, because I honestly thought we were going to do side pockets. And I'm kind of sad that I didn't, because the side pockets are just so big that the person working in the journal can keep all kinds of supplies in. So probably the next one of these I do, since I'm doing 3 of them, probably the next one I will do a large side pocket, just because, I mean, I can cram a whole pile of papers. I could have crammed this whole entire pile of papers down in that side pocket. It's harder to put things in and out from the top pocket. That's why I'm going to do the notepad there. But on the other 2, I'm probably going to do one gigantic side pocket. And then over here, we can play with, you know, I kind of really like this, so I'll probably do the same thing. But in the next one, I will do side pocket, meaning I'm going to cut this and I'm going to thumb hole notch this and leave it one gigantic pocket. I didn't know how I wanted to do it, and now I do. This one is fine. But you can see if I wanted to do that, I couldn't put a closure here because you wouldn't be able to use your pocket. So that's why we're doing the elastic topper closure. So that's what we're doing, like that. Okay. No one answered Jenny's question about dyeing paper with onion skin. You feel bad. Onion skin, you can definitely dye paper with. It is not something that I enjoyed doing, but maybe you do. It doesn't really make that much color, no matter what you do, red or yellow onion skins, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make that much color on paper. In my opinion, if you are looking for that color dyed paper, and I hate to say this because like we talked about yesterday, there's people that watch that just, they make money off of things I say when they were mean and they shouldn't be watching me. But to dye paper to get the onion look, I think you would be much happier dyeing with turmeric. Turmeric will give you more the onion color, but more bolder so that you see the color. The onion skin gives off very faint color, and it's not really enjoyable to do because it stinks like onions. Kind of stinks like underarms. So I don't like the smell of the paper when it's dried either. So the turmeric, yes, you smell some turmeric, but it is a very lovely golden color dyed paper. And that's a natural dye. So you just do it with turmeric spice. So just find, the most inexpensive turmeric spice and dye paper with that in boiled water. Onion skin, you can lay them and stack your papers and get some prints, but even that, it's like eco dyeing. It's not guaranteed, and it's an awful lot of work when you get a stack of papers you don't like in the end. I didn't enjoy it, and I've dyed thousands and 100,000 pieces of paper, probably several hundred thousands. But anyway, I didn't enjoy it. You give it a try if you want, but I would go with turmeric powder instead. Which Jenny was it? Was it Jenny T or Jenny D? Who was it? Jenny T or Jenny D? I'm going to wipe this glue off my fingers while we're chit-chatting. So, we're going to wrap up here, and I'm going to switch the camera back around. Let me know which Jenny it was. So again, if you're finished with your cover, if you're at the point I am, if you want to seal your cover, go ahead and seal it. We talked about that. If you want to sew around it because you don't have pockets that are going to be interfered by sewing, sew around it. It's a nice big oversized cover. So like right now, we have so much space in here. I mean, this is a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper folded in half. So you can see in this journal, we are going to use oversized pages, or at least I'm going to use oversized pages so that it's not just this tiny little rectangle for a signature in here. I'm going to stagger my papers and make them all different lengths and heights so that I don't just have this rectangle. But you have plenty of room. If you sew around it, you're not going to make your journal too small or anything like that. So just, you have plenty of room in here where you will see your sewing. Get what I mean? Okay. It was Jenny Roberts. Okay, thank you. I will message her or see if I can message her. I don't think is she still here? Is she go to bed or? Anyways, you got all your papers cut? Yay! 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 Well, I'm glad that you love the red onion, but it is very stinky. And there are lots of ways to get that same color without that, without the onions. Plus, where do you go to get enough red onion skins? You would have had to been saving red onion skins for a year before you would have enough to dye with. Unless you're that one person who goes to the grocery store and like picks all the onion skin out, because you have to save it for a very long time to have enough. She said good night. Okay, I'll see if I can message her. I don't know if I have her in Messenger yet or not. But anyway, seal it, sew around it, whatever. Get it ready for next time. Get your papers ready for next time. Very quickly, before we say goodnight, I want to show you some of the things I pulled for pages. So this book, and we're going to talk about books here for a minute because some of you guys asked for book or asked what books I'm going to use or whatever. This book is called I had them in my head. This is the Gardener's Encyclopedia, I believe. I believe these are the Gardener's Encyclopedia, and pretty much every folio that you pull out of that thing, first of all, it's a big fat book with a lot of pages, and you pull them out and they're beautiful. So there's those, they can go in there. They're a good size. So the Gardener's Encyclopedia, I'm pretty sure that's what that's called. This is the Victorian Flower Album. I think it's called that. They were all in my head. I think this is the Victorian Flower Album. It's a vintage book. It's not a new book. It's a vintage book. The thing I like about these is the pages are landscape. So when I fold them to put them into a journal, the flowers are going the right way. They're not sideways. So this, I believe, is Victorian Flower Album. And so there's that. And then we get to my onion skin, which I just threw up there because I didn't have a place to put it. We'll move them over there. These ones here are the flowers of the world. No, it's wildflowers of the world. Wildflowers of the world. Again, you know, to use them, they're going to be great, but your flowers are going to be sideways. So all of these are wildflowers of the world. It is quite an expensive book. But for fussy cutting, if you're into fussy cutting flowers, this book in particular has nice, beautiful size flowers to fussy cut. So anyway, there's that one. These are all wildflowers of the world. This one right here is Wildflowers of North America or Wildflowers of America. I have two that are very similar. Wildflowers of America, I believe. And so I like these ones because you get flowers. So for folding, they seem to put the flowers down here on one side and up here on the other side. So for fussy cutting, you're not going to cut into the other flowers, but for folding, you've got pages of flowers and pages of text. So there's that one. I'll have to make sure I remember these. This one right here is, I really wish they would say on the pages. This is you have these pages in your kit, or at least a page in your kit. I didn't bring this book in, but I did bring other books in. This guy, I don't know. I'll have to come back to him. This guy is the something about Island. I'll grab that book too. I'll bring this book back in. So this looks like Edith Holden, but it's not Edith Holden. It's called something about Island. Island of Flowers, or A Year on the Island, or something like that. It's about this couple who lived on this island, and for a year, they made a book about every season, every month of the year, just like Edith Holden. It's really a knockoff of Edith Holden. It's not as old as Edith Holden, but the same style where they documented every animal that lives there, every flower that's there, all every month of the year for a whole year. And it's something about Island. I will bring those two books that I can't remember in here next time. This one is a fussy cut book that you buy on Amazon, and it has fussy cuts, and it has the back has this pattern paper. So you can make the fussy cuts, and then you have scraps that are left over to collage with out of that, or you can just put this page in your journal. I brought in a couple of those. These are pages that I think, this is stuff I think I'm going to use in my journal, possibly. This right here is onion skin paper. It's vintage cockle finish onion skin paper that has been coffee dyed. It's very crinkly and also transparent. So I think those would be fun pages. I coffee dyed the ledger page. It's just like a newer ledger, and it's coffee dyed. So those would be fun pages. I'm going to put the CD envelopes in more than likely in my signature. So those are coffee dyed. If you don't have your papers coffee dyed, you got a week to do it. This is the graph paper, various random graph papers. You guys got graph paper in your kits, so you can coffee dye the graph paper and put that in your signature. This is just regular coffee dyed paper that's already folded to go into a signature. I have music paper to go into the signature. More coffee dyed paper to go in. Because this is a 10 by 13 journal, I can fit far more than the 15 standard pages in this journal, so it's going to have more pages in it. These books come from, I think it's Wildflowers by Color or Flowers by Color, and they're color coordinated where the edge of the page, if it's blue, it means blue flowers. If it's white flowers. If it's green flowers or green things. And it's kind of a cute book. It makes nice folios to put into a journal. So there's those. This is the vintage encyclopedia that is in your kit. It's an illustrated encyclopedia, or illustrated dictionary, sorry. Illustrated dictionary, so there's just random pages of that. This is more music paper that is a good quality that can go in the journal signature. These are some of this is the old eco dies that I had. So some new, some old maybe, I don't know. But these are eco dye papers that are prints of eco dye. So I'm definitely putting eco dyed paper in there. This is a botanical book that has been coffee dyed and it's black and white, and I love the way it looks. So I've got a bunch of those pages that I can put in the signature as well. So get out your black and white books and copy dye them. They're quite beautiful copy dyed. Then from there, I have some craft paper, and this is sheets of craft paper that you can put in your signature. And then I'm going to put that green painter's masking paper in there. I thought about putting braille paper in there. I may or may not. We have enough room in the signature to put it in there. And I'm definitely putting old documents and handwritten things and invoices and French documents and all that kind of stuff in there. This journal is a good one for me because it is oversized. So I can use some of these documents where the document themselves is big, right? So I can use some of these ones where it's like an A4 size document because they're bigger folded in half than an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So I am definitely going to put some of this old stuff in there. Lots of old handwriting and goody grunginess and all that kind of stuff. So that's my plan for signature pages plus a kit. And I promise you guys, I will find us a kit. And I will show you guys once I get my kit printed and tell you who it's from. This book is the Florilegium book from Amazon. This is the one that I got the little, these little pieces that I was using for collage. They came out of this book. And this book you also got a folio of for the signature or 2 pages, however it came out of the book. And I am going to be including at least 1, maybe 2 folios in every journal that I make because this is the perfect book for this journal. The other book is, of course, The Country Diary of the Edwardian Lady by Edith Holden. And of course, you cannot do a botanical journal without Edith Holden. So there will be Edith Holden in here. I don't know what pages or whatever, but there will definitely be Edith Holden in this journal because you can't do a botanical journal without Edith Holden. And you guys did get a page of that in your kit as well. So 4 pages, we have tons and tons of options before we even get to the digital part. But I just wanted to go over that, give you guys what I'm going to put in mind, give you a chance to, copy dye what you need to copy dye if you're going to do it. Pull out some interesting things. At one point, I did sell the packs of the old vintage copy dye or old vintage cockle finish onion skin. I did sell packs of that at one point. I did sell packs of botanical papers at one point. Maybe you guys have those. I will bring some of the botanical books in here, other ones than ones I brought today to show you. But that's kind of where I'm going with it. And I think I'm going to fit a big old bunch of pages in there. It should be a fun journal, or they should be fun journals to make. And so really, I'm going to do the topper as a video, I guess. I don't know, but you guys will see it one way or another. Really, that's about it for the journal. The signature is going to come together really quickly, and I already have a ton of ephemera from the 365 series. So we are well on our way. I know we just made a cover tonight, but we are well on our way. What I would suggest you do before you go to bed, if you make your cover today, is stack some heavy book on it. Something nice and big that will flatten it out. You can try putting it under your craft mat, but because there's multiple thicknesses of, this is very, very sturdy now. It is very thick, hard cardstock because we collaged all over it. Plus it was a thick mailing envelope to begin with that was double thickness. So if you were wondering if this is going to be a sturdy, durable cover, it is very, very sturdy and durable. It's almost like a hard cover. Once you get your stuff in here, it's going to be totally fine. So there's that. We did it. I'm going to switch the camera back around, say my good night. Then I'm going to go figure out what we're doing for dinner and if my son is awake. And then after that, I'll try to make a video. I got to pick up stuff off the floor. Okay. Back to the camera. Back to the camera. So, guys, I will not be seeing you. I will not. Where's my camera? I will not be seeing you I will not be seeing you on Tuesday for a live sale. There will be no live sale on Tuesday of next week. The reason being is before I sell more stuff, I need to process the tons and tons of stuff that was already purchased this week. So, no live sale this week. This coming Tuesday, no live sale. I just need that whole week to process because some people asked for things that I sold out of. I have to go back and make some and all that kind of stuff. I have a ton of ledgers that have to be packed, and those sometimes I have to make a box for them because the ledgers are weird sizes. And so I just, plus everything going on at my dad's house, I just need that week. And plus, it might keep me on schedule with invoicing you guys at the end of next week. So no live sale on Tuesday. I will not be doing live crafting on Tuesday. I might pop in and just say hello and chat with you guys for a little bit if I'm here, but no crafting live. I'm not going to make anything, and no live sale. So just keep that in mind. I know we're going to do Italian paper the next Tuesday after that. So if you want to mark your calendar for Italian paper is for certain. Let me look at the calendar for certain. Hold on. Why is the calendar weird? Sometimes this computer is so freaky. Did I say the 7th? Yes, the 7th. Okay. So next Friday's Craft with Me is the 7th, but no sale on the 4th, no sale on April 4th for Tuesday. April 11th will be Italian paper. The 11th will be Italian paper. That's all I'm selling on the 11th is sheets of Italian paper. It is your one and only opportunity to get sheets of Italian paper. There will not be sheets of Italian paper after the 11th until 3 or so months later after I get a whole nother order from Italy. So on the 11th of April at 6 p.m. Eastern time will be my next live sale, and it will be sheets of Italian paper that all ship rolled in a tube. That's what we're doing. After the 11th, we'll have the week of the 18th. I will be having a live sale, and it will be back to our French antique goodness that we didn't get to. There's still a lot of sewing and lace and things that we did not get to, industrial things, whatever. So the 18th will be back to normal. That's about it, I guess. So we're going to craft live the 7th and the 14th, but we are not crafting live the 21st because it is Good Friday. The Friday before. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. This is March. Hold on. Oh my gosh. I told you this calendar is so weird. It went to year 2022, which is super helpful. So in April of 2025, let me say that all over again. All over again. We're crafting live on the 4th. April 1st, there is no live sale. I will be busy that week doing the previous sale. April 4th, we will have a live craft with me working in the journal. April 8th is the Italian paper sale. April 15th, back to normal French sale. There's no live crafting on April 18th because it is Good Friday, the Friday before Easter, and I have family things. So no live crafting on the 18th, but there is live crafting on the 25th of April. So between today, the 4th, the 11th, and the 25th, that is our 4 sessions for this journal. Hopefully that just confused everybody and you all will message me. My stupid calendar, this computer, it might have a virus, I don't know what, but it constantly resets the year in the calendar, and then it goes off and says that it is like 1 o'clock in the morning when it really is 7 p.m. at night. So I don't know what's going on with the calendar and the time, but it's always off. So once I figured it out, sorry if you mislabeled your calendar this month. Oh my gosh. Hopefully I did not cause too much confusion. I can't even talk anymore. I think part of it is being tired, but anyway, that's the plan. Just so you know, I want to be upfront. No live sale on Tuesday. We will craft on Friday, and I will see you guys. So I'll probably pop in and say hello, but if I don't, then I will see you in a week on Friday. Your Mac has done that. See, I know that this one has done it several times before, and you can reset it, but there's something causing it, and usually it's a virus. So this computer does nothing else. The one that's on now does nothing else other than stream. The other one behind it is the one where I do all of my invoicing and all my important stuff. And then there is a third one that runs other software up there. So between the three of them, they need to behave themselves. Oh my gosh. Link for Elastic. I can pop it in now, or I can pop it in Facebook group. Do you want me to pop it in? So I'm going to link it in the video where I do it, and then I will put it in the Facebook group as well. So once you see me do it, you'll see the link in there, because I honestly don't know. I would need to go pull that spool from my room and see what it is, because the elastic comes in different widths, and I'm going to need to pull that spool out of the bin and tell you the exact width, or link the exact width. Otherwise, you'll have too thick of elastic or too thin of elastic. You tried to update something and it said it was out of date. I'm going to have to fight with this computer later. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Linda, don't stress. I'll put that link in the video when I make it. And you'll have plenty of time to make it, because the video, I mean, that's coming soon, and we'll have a whole month to make this journal. Thank you guys. You guys are what makes this fun. You guys are what makes this great. You guys all here chatting and being nice and friendly to each other. And, it's a place where you come and you hang out with your friends, and that's what makes it great. The crafting is a bonus, but you guys building friendships is what makes it great. So thank you guys for coming. Thank you for joining me. I will try to do another video tonight for today, but I'm not sure I have one in me. I'm feeling very tired. Anyway, and I have to get up super early in the morning and go start unloading storage containers, which, I don't do a lot of physical stuff anymore because I'm not well enough to. Like, I have legitimate pain. But that's why we hired help. I'm sure I will still have to do some, because I'm not the stand around while other people work kind of person anyway. But I'm trying to do the lighter stuff and not do like the moving the hospital bed that's in the storage container. So anyway, I don't know if I have another video in me for tonight. Just bear with me as I get through all of this stuff, and I can get back to normal programming, as they say. All right, guys, good night. I really enjoy our time together, and thank you guys for coming. I'll see you again next Friday for sure. Thank you guys. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Bye, guys.